everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. I had gone back and forth on covering this, but I was watching through this and I think it's worth covering. So, as I've said many times, my interest in lolcows, I mean, the drama's funny, the A-logging's funny, all that stuff is really entertaining. But to me, I think the most interesting part of A-logs, or sorry, of lolcows or just online personalities is from a sociological and psychological standpoint, or even just a business standpoint. Just because, as someone who was raised in like a middle to upper middle class, like Anglo center right Canadian family, just the way that these people act and behave is so just antithetical to the way I was raised. I just find it fascinating. And it's just so different from how I would act in the similar situation. I kind of just want to try to understand as much as possible where it's coming from. I also just think that there's value in it being a cautionary tale. So I think a lot of people get into these situations, they have no idea what they're doing, and they just completely screw the pooch, and they destroy something that should be a success, that should be life changing, that should lead them to having a happy and productive life. And be it Nick Ricada, be it Rich from Review Tech USA, be it to a certain extent Phil, or all these people, there's no reason that their lives need to be as bad as they are, but they just are. Like they're just awful. And I think once again it's worth taking a look at this and trying to like figure out what even happened and how. So we're going to go through this. This is the video that Tim Pool put out a couple days ago. This is his panicked. It's kind of like his equivalent of "I'm white trash and I'm in trouble." It's him basically saying like everything's falling apart, my life sucks and stuff like that. I think the most interesting aspect of it, and we'll get into it, is his complete unwillingness to take any responsibility for his business. And he acts very much like I talk a lot about the natural disaster view of history on my channel, which is something I came up with, which is whenever something happens that goes against the narrative, someone's narrative, it's treated like a natural disaster. It's just something that happened. There's no context to it. There's no reason for it. There's nothing that led up to it. It's just a complete and total mystery. Or as I like to put it, it's the mystery that Scooby-Doo couldn't solve. And this is very much in line with that, where Tim just has no idea like what went wrong. And he talks about it like it's not his company, like he had no influence on it, like some just random dude came in and gained control or something. It's weird. It's really weird. So we're just going to go through that. I think that kind of provides a good background as to why we're actually covering this. So I'm just going to share this on my social media platforms, and we'll get into it. I have actually watched most of this already. By the way, just while I'm sharing this, if you haven't already, I would recommend watching the Joe Rogan Trump interview. I didn't think there was really enough to do a video on it, but it was very fascinating. The way that the whole thing goes, I just think is very unique. You kind of see a side of Trump that I don't think people really see that often. It's him as being as natural, in kind of his natural environment. He's a bit more laid back. He still talks very much like Trump does, and it's kind of weird. But it's neat to kind of see him reflecting and kind of making fun of himself a bit and saying like mistakes were made and stuff like that. It is very humanizing. I think it was a good call for Trump to go on. I'm not really sure what people in the audience might think, but yeah, just let me know either in the chat or in the comments down below. But like I said, I think it was a big W for Trump. Um, Okay, so I'm just setting a thumbnail and then we will get started. Like I said, I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. I went to if people are just accountability, went to church yesterday, so I could stream, I could A-log Tim Pool. That was the reason for it. So I'm gonna be honest, this is actually the first time I've watched Tim Pool. A lot of these people I just don't want. It's not something that particularly interests me. I'm not super interested in like anti-woke, generic, moderate conservative or whatever Tim Pool is talking points. I mean, as I've said in the past, the political channels I watch are the Duran. I watch both of the Alex's individual channels. I watch Daniel Davis Deep Dive. I watch Real American Politics. And there's a couple others that I'll check in on. And generally speaking, if they cite an interesting news article, I'll go read that myself. And those are, I think they do a pretty good job of aggregating the main news stories of the day. I'm not going to, those guys are all way smarter than whatever I'm sure Tim Pool puts out. I'm not interested in conservatism. So I'm just going to say that up front. This is the first time watching it. This dude really does not have very much charisma. But my understanding is that he rode the anti-SJW, anti-woke wave to prominence. And I think this is actually a case where he is a Russian disinformation agent. Or stuff like that. I think he was actually getting $100,000 an episode from the Russian government. Now, people can correct me. I looked it up. People who are not like normally buy into that conspiracy theory have told me that yes, he did get that much, and that's in addition to super chats, to subscriptions, to merch, to donations, whatever else. So the bare minimum that he was making is, I guess he does his show. Which show is it? Because he does apparently 3 or 4 shows a day. So I'm not sure how much he was getting. We'll just say for the sake of this video, to try to bring some sort of order to this, that he was making $400,000 a month. We'll say he did it once a week for just that. And then 4,000 times 12. Sorry, I haven't had all my coffee yet. So he's making at least $500,000. So we're gonna. Oh no, not $500,000. What am I talking about? Wow, that is some argent. That is some argent math there. Okay, he was making $5 million. He was making $5 million a year. I'm gonna, and people can agree or disagree with me. I'm just gonna double that and say everything else together is maybe another 5 million. So this dude is making somewhere between $5 to $10 million a year. And I think that has to be the context. Now, if I was to, and that's American, by the way. So let me see what that is in CAD. USD to CAD. That is $140,000 Canadian. That's like half a decent apartment. Yeah, Mini Ramon, we're gonna get into it. It's pretty astounding. That is like half of it, like an okay 1-bedroom condo. Like where I live, and I live in kind of a shitty area, I could get a pretty nice 1-bedroom condo for like 250 to 300,000 Canadian dollars. So the point is, this dude was getting paid life-changing money to do this stuff, to do his show. Like it's a fucking podcast. And we're gonna find out that this dude had 30 people working for him and 10 contractors. How? He does a radio show. Sorry, just having a sip of coffee. Now, I get that you don't want to do the whole thing yourself. That makes sense to me. So you probably will want, if you're making the kind of money Tim Pool is, maybe like two or three other people. You want somebody who will run the tech, like someone who will run OBS, who will play the clips, whatever the music or the sound effects are. Make sure the camera looks good. Make sure that that the camera looks good. That things are going smoothly. Maybe I don't know if it'd be that person or someone else. You want someone who will do clips. Someone who do someone who will do clips, someone who will do the research for you. I'm not sure if writer is really the right term for it, but somebody who will look up the stories of the day, who will write summaries of them, and maybe you'll talk to for like half an hour before your show. So I do get, if you're trying to be more professional than like what I do, and you're trying to streamline it and make it more of a polished product, yeah, you might want to have a couple people. Like Andy and Ashton on Kino Casino, they hired one person who does their clip channel. So that makes sense to me. But this dude had 30 people. He lives on a compound. He apparently owns multiple compounds. He owns like skate parks and stuff like that. It's just the craziest stuff I've heard in quite some time. So, and then there's some people like, I guess Mr. Beast has like a huge team, but I mean, he kind of needs a huge team. So, your videos are better than Tim's. Thanks, Space Caulfield. I appreciate it. Well, I like to, so I get that I'm not particularly professional. I don't really do much editing or tech stuff, but I try not to do videos unless I think I have an interesting take. Like there's a lot of reviews I don't do just because I don't think I have anything really interesting to say about it. And I don't just want to kind of, I'll ramble, but ramble without anything kind of, but I'm rambling now, so let's just get into it. So this may be the last Timcast. This is where it often will start for lolcows, is they'll do a fake suicide stream, or they'll do a fake cry for help stream, or they'll do something like that. And we will just see a man who has no agency, who has no sense of personal responsibility. It really kind of irritates me. Once again, because this dude got opportunities that the rest, if people are saying this in chat, like, I'm not going to pretend I'm poor. I have an okay middle class white collar job with insurance and stuff. So, but compared to this dude makes in one show more than I make in 2 years. And he's going to complain and whine to us about how hard his show is. And he might cancel his fucking podcast because he can't do his podcast 1 day a week. Even if the Russian money dries up, he has a 2 million sub channel. Anyways, let's just start this. Let me know if the audio balance is okay. Okay.
35
Okay, let's see here.
1,135 episodes of this show. Holy smokes. It's been a long time. It's a lot of work from a lot of people, and a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, but a lot of good fun. And this strong possibility that the show is over. Strong possibility. I am joined tonight by the great comedian Dave Landau.
Hello, how are you? Good?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna
I'll
try to skip through some of the
And
boring
actually, I was planning on not doing it. All of this begins to happen right when he's showing up, and I kind of was like, oh man, that might...
Guest for you.
And Raymond was also here too. And
I forgot to mention, this dude has a $50,000 a month security budget. How is that even possible? Like, he couldn't he hire, like, I don't know how much it costs, but couldn't he hire like couldn't he hire some like ex-military guy for like $100,000 a year, which I think is probably more than they normally get paid, like some ex-FBI guy or some ex-Navy SEAL to be like his bodyguard, or someone who's a professional? How can he spend $50,000 a month in security? That is insane. He could hire, like I said, a full-time professional bodyguard who has like specialized military training and is like a Chad and a badass for way less than that.
I figured for what the conversation is going to be, because this is not going to be a news show. I figured it'd be good if you hung out, because you started as just like a fan of the show, and you super chatted every day.
They're fans of this.
And in respect to Hannah Claire, who was here, but it is not a financial thing. We made
okay.
Good job. But yeah, I think this might be the end. This might be the end. Cascade failure. Cascade failure. We are well off. It is not a financial thing. We make a lot of money. But
okay, so just keep in mind, it's not a financial thing.
But piece by piece, the structure becomes bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes impossible to manage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we hit today.
Okay, and so this is the first. I'll try not to pause every time he does this, but what do you mean the structure becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, dude? It's your company. It's your it's your responsibility. If you don't want to do this, then hire a professional manager. Like hire someone to be your manager, to make the business decisions, to hire the personnel, and if that guy does a shitty job, fire him and get somebody else. Like, I get it. You are a content producer. You like talking about the news. You like talking about politics. You like making content. I get that means you might not be a good manager, but if you are not capable of it, you should try to find somebody who's competent. I can't believe that this dude can't find someone who can do this stuff for him.
So it's like there's a series of, I'd never call out anybody personally or individually. No.
By the way, with regards to the swatting, after you get swatted a certain number of times, eventually the police aren't stupid. They figure it out. So I think they just call him. They're like, oh, someone called it a bomb threat. Is there a bomb? And he's like, no. And the police are like, oh, okay. That's cool. Like, I don't think they actually break down your door after the first time or two, because they just don't have the time and money to deal with it.
No.
All right.
There's also legal ramifications to insulting employees.
Oh, that's true.
But I would just say that, like, compounding, laziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that builds up over time, which adds more and more workload to, me and Allison, to get to the point where we're just like, can't do it. And it's tough because we've this is
like, what do you mean, Tim? It's your company. You pay these people. You have a conversation with them. You go, look, you're not doing what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. Maybe you negotiate a bit. Maybe they go, okay, well, here's the support I need, or I don't know, just something. And then this dude just acts like it's not even his company.
This is not a for a lot of people, they're hearing this right now, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? I was like, oh, you've been talking to us for months.
Yeah.
And then it's fascinating because, like, 3 months ago, we're going over, like, finances, and I'll break it all down for everybody. We do really well. Our members, you guys seriously do sustain us, and that allows us to have what I would call a safe profit margin every month. That means
what's with these, like, board meetings that they have? Like, oh, by the way, what is this? Can I get a dentistry check? Look at those fucking teeth. Sorry, I shouldn't be making fun of his physical appearance, but like, why do they have to have these, like, board meetings? Like, this is a publicly managed company. We're talking about profit margins and stuff like that.
we're capable. Like, we're not.
How about spend some money to fix your fucking teeth?
Not worried that if we have a bad month, people are going to get fired or anything's going to shut down like that. And that's why I'm always like, we need members so that we can try and make new things and grow and do bookings and make things good and better and all that stuff. And, it just, the problem is, even with all of that, without a proper CEO who isn't hosting the show, it's not possible.
Then just hire somebody.
Yeah, you have to have some.
Do you know how many, like, competent business graduates there are who can't find work? like really no one. So like, okay, so this guy's in with whatever the entertainment, news, like whatever. Nobody he knows can say, oh, I know this guy, he's looking for work, he's competent, he's a hard. Really, no one can suggest a competent manager to him.
Somebody to go to that's not you.
Yeah, and so
I've learned that on my own show.
And yeah, you need a hierarchy, like any business needs a hierarchy.
and we have that. I mean, we don't have that many people for his company. It's like I think we have like 30 something employees.
Yeah.
And it's and then like 10 contractors. But it's
How does he have 10, 30 employees? Like, whoa. I just think about this for a minute. 30 employees, like what kind of a business do like fast food restaurants even have 30? Well, I guess because they work part-time. What kind of company has 30 full-time employees? Like that's a lot. I could be wrong. It's just like the first company I worked at had like 6. It's just, huh? And like when I was at that company, I had to do like all kinds of this. I did my job. I also did the tech stuff. I also did the website. I also like wrote stuff. I did like if there was miscellaneous stuff, like I needed to set up an event. They got me to do that too. They didn't get dedicated people for like other stuff.
it's largely for the external projects that we are trying to do. The issue now is we can get rid of.
Also, who are these fucking contractors he's talking about?
We can get rid of the external projects, and that's a lot of people that are part of the crew and everybody loves. And the challenge thing is like when we go through this and we're like, maybe we need to, we want to increase the buffer, we want to increase marketing. How do we sustain this show? How do we build more memberships? Well, the core product is Timcast, the morning show, Timcast.
Like this dude can't do math. Like look at your income, look at what you're spending, and go, I want this balance. Like it takes a little bit of thinking. It takes a little bit of sitting down. Also, here's my question. Why does he need to do all these side projects? Why can't he just have the Timcast, make a ton of money, and live a happy, productive life? Why does he need to do all these random side projects? Why does he have to go into a major media company? Glenn Beck did this, and from my understanding, wasn't Mercury Studios a complete disaster? You got the Blaze. Just, dude, if you don't have the ability to manage this stuff, if you don't have the ability to run it, then just run your podcast. Make a ton of money, save the money, put a couple $1 million into index funds, buy bonds, buy gold, just put a bunch of your money into safe investments, and you'll be set for life. Get like a house, like not a compound in the middle of nowhere. Get a decent house, get some rental properties. You can get a property management company to deal with that. Like, dude, there's a lot of, if you're pulling in cash like that, there's lots of ways that you can park it. There's lots of places you can park that. It's just, yeah.
IRL, and then the culture where we're trying to make something. And so we got to do marketing, we got to do travel. Well, I can't travel. So if I get invited to go on some, I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do
because
any other shows.
if I'm not doing IRL, I have to be dealing with paperwork on all these other projects. We've been trying to get a coffee shop open for 2 years. I'm done.
Yeah, longer
It's over.
than that.
Over.
Now.
Yep.
We've been trying to get a coffee shop for 2 years. Just buy a coffee shop. Like, why do you have to set up your own? Like, find a coffee shop and just buy it. Like, you have the money to do it. Why do you even need a coffee shop? Like, why does he need this, like, hipster coffee shop? Or try to find somebody who's, like, competent and be the silent partner in it. Like, it's... Now, you might say, well, Arjun, could you start a coffee shop? No, I don't have the skills or the time or the energy or the interest in doing this. What? Like, but once again, he's also acting like this is just something that's happening to him.
Over. And so, the conversations I've had with family is like, I am under no illusions that I have the capability to make this company what it could be. And I hear all these things. No, Tim, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. We've been trying to get a coffee shop open for 2 years.
Yeah.
Clearly, I cannot do it. My feelings are not hurt when I'm like, I can't do it. I skateboard every day. I'm trying to do a nose mail, nollie impossible out. I can't land it. And I'm like, maybe I'll get it one day, but I'm trying as hard as I can. But I am not going to cry and pretend that I can do something I can't do. So, ultimately what it comes down to is we had our like, I don't know, 12th studio failure this morning.
The new one.
12 studio so I'm going to be charitable and assume that doesn't mean the whole studio failed. It's like one thing at the studio failed.
Yeah, the new studio failed. And my attitude with that is kind of just,
by the way, why does he have floor panels behind him? You know what, that might actually be the exact same paneling that the floor of my apartment has. Holy shit, I think it is actually. It's the same color. That is, he literally has floor paneling. Like, that's the exact same floor paneling that I'm sitting on right now. Wow.
it's like, if we can't make cameras and a computer work, and despite all the previous failures we've had, there's not a single person here who can make sure that either the studio is operating or secondary studio is operating. We've gotten to a point in the company where everyone's kind of just kicked their feet up and said, I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
And then that just means I'm Sisyphus pushing the rock up. The problem is
He's Sisyphus. I mean, like here's the thing. There's nothing, like, I don't mind the flooring. The flooring's fine to me. My issue is, like, get a wall or get like the noise absorbing foam or something. Like, dude, you're supposed to be a professional. Also, what the fuck is this? What is that thing behind him? That has linoleum. Is that a table? Is that a chair? This is like the ugliest, like, pistol. Get something like cool behind you, or just have a blank wall. Like, for fuck's sake, dude, you're supposed to be a professional. Also, like, I'm somehow running a stream and it's just me. I'm just sitting here, Rain's staring at me. I'm somehow able to do it. This dude can't fucking stream. It's like,
people are sitting on the rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So that's
I've
why
been
I was
there.
like, I'm not going to do the show tonight.
Well, what do you want? Like, what do you want out of this? That's an important thing to ask yourself. What does Tim want?
Well, I wanted to complain on the internet.
Well, let's do it.
So my here we are.
Look at what you've managed to build.
also, I've tried one of those chairs in the past. I find them super uncomfortable. I think it's a Serpa chair. It's pretty good. Although Rain's destroyed it.
I know, it's incredible.
So you got to give yourself credit for that. So why get rid of it?
Just people are asking about the katana. I think that's a wakizashi. It's like a short sword version of a katana.
I mean, you wanted to complain on the internet. You did it. I mean, you started by going out to protest, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, depends on where you say it all begins. Like, I was making skate videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
long
then that
before
turned
that.
into, after like 5 skate videos, filming at Occupy Wall Street, which turned into live streaming, which turned into working for Vice, working for
Right.
Fusion, and then starting my own company, and then transforming that slowly into a podcast. And then, here we are. So when I say complain on the internet, what I really mean is, I was talking to some friends of mine earlier who, pro skaters, and we were talking about why, I'll put it in my words,
I
not
like
theirs.
them.
They're very cool.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
So for 4 years, we've been trying to do a show that is built around.
I don't know if it's a shelf or what. It doesn't look like a shelf. It looks like a folding chair or a folding table or something. Like, and this is off center. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be making fun of his stool, his studio, but dude, you moved to a fucking compound. You built this studio from scratch, and this is the best you can come up with?
We have this awesome property. We have skate parks. We have Willy Wonka's candy factory or whatever,
Yeah.
chocolate factory. Why can't we get people to just do something?
Because if you haven't earned it, you're not.
Because you're a bitch. That's why.
is thirsty.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean first and last thing. What is that? Like, there's like, okay, that actually looks like the background of a real studio there with the what's it called? By the way, can you see does it show my mouse on screen or not? Like, what is that? It's a different color. There's just a random ass shelf in the middle of nowhere. This kind of looks like the background, I think.
For it.
Perhaps.
And I found that in my own career where it's, you know, I've had falling outs too with big shows, which sucks, you know, and everybody knows that. Yeah. So it's like, it's not anything that I didn't make obvious, but at the same time, you do have to be hungry for your own thing, because then I hire friends and then those friends don't do anything for a year. And you're like, oh, that's why this person didn't like you. You're like,
Exactly.
Like, oh, I see. This is the problem. Like,
you know what I think too is I've been hearing this a lot from a lot of different people who are working small to large companies, and I'm not going to drag their personal business into the public or anything, but
no, and I've regretted doing that in the past.
I'm hearing a lot about how there's like a talent and management crisis right now, and the example that I've given, because I have no connection to it whatsoever, is Charlestown Races, where they used to have this awesome restaurant that overlooks the horse track, and the horses every Thursday, Friday, Saturday you get to watch the horses run and order food and hang out, and they don't have the restaurant anymore, only on special occasions, rarely. You know, I don't know how often they do it, but almost never. And they told me, I asked them why the restaurant shut down. It's because after COVID hit, everybody who worked there retired or quit. Nobody will do the job. They can't find anybody.
Right.
So there's a fucking, now we're talking about like a management crisis.
People are just accountability with
and stuff. Okay, so there's like a management crisis we're talking about, and this translated. Also, is it just me, or does this not even look like it's clean? Like, Shining of it doesn't look like this is dirty, or this is HD. I don't know. The camera kind of looks like shit to me. Does it look like shit to anybody else? Like, I don't know. It looks like it's dirty. It looks like it hasn't been cleaned. It's off-center. It's not even like on a board. Just, dude, either have nothing behind you or get something get like some paintings, maybe get some like shelves with books or some plants or something. And you know what? Don't have fucking linoleum on your walls. Why do you have flooring on your walls?
Other big companies have said the same thing. It seems like the top brass are grinding their fingers to the bone because they have a vision that they want to do. There's something that drives them to do something. Which brings me to, my friends, these skaters, and I said, why do you guys post videos every day? You have no boss? And they're like, well, I don't know, I want to do it. I'm like, right.
Yeah, I just want to do a side, because our resident schizo, Bob John, I think has figured this thing out. So this is his solution to the Tim Pool question. Tim Pool is probably slowly going crazy from the FBI watching him and the hallucinogen drip into the water. He follows that up by saying that he should check for a slow drip system around the house where water filters go. I think that's the reason.
Want to do it.
Same as me, yeah.
And so you do. And then I think the problem we're facing as a country is most people do not. They will because they have to, and they hate that they do.
Weak times? Weak men, is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Weak men create strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create weak times.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm pretty weak. I still do.
I mean, sure.
In fairness.
Sure, I drive 2 hours a day to work, so I'm we're all ready to go.
Yeah, I fly from Detroit to my job.
Yeah.
I get it.
but it's like,
Wait, you fly to your job? You drive 2 hours? Like, what is Tim paying you guys? Like, get it together. I get that, like, if you live in Toronto or something like that, then yeah, or LA or some other shitty place in North America, like, you're going to have to commute that much. But this thing makes less and less time as it goes on.
again, like not calling anybody, I don't want to insult anyone directly, but it's just seeing someone stand around, do nothing. And then so the challenge is, in order to make this show operate, I have to work what is effectively 16 hours a day. So like,
I'm going to press the mother of all X's to doubt. Let's go back on this again.
Seeing someone stand around, do nothing. And then so the challenge is, in order to make this show operate, I have to work what is effectively 16 hours a day. So like, I haven't had it's fair to say, weekday sunset in 4 years. You know, like just through the window or something. Or now that we're in the new studio, there's no windows at all.
I'm colorblind, so.
But it's more about like the
like what is this again? Like, okay, so I haven't seen a weekday sunset in. They work in a weekday. Okay, I haven't seen a weekday, but dude, you're your own boss. Just take a break and go outside and watch the sunset. Like, I don't get it. Also, there's no way this dude works 16 hours a day. That's not real. There's no way that's the truth. Also, like, what is he thinking? Like, once again, he's acting like this is a natural disaster. Like, he had no control over any of this. He's like, yeah, I know I'm the boss. I know I'm paying these people, but like, they just stand around. They don't do anything. And it's a problem. And I'm like, dude, it's your fucking company. Own up. Be a man.
wow, what if I finished work at a normal time like everybody else and just, I don't know, hopped in the car?
Well, how about don't do all these side projects? Don't have a compound. Just do your podcast and make absurd amounts of money and invest it, and then be happy and maybe like go travel the world or do cool stuff.
Car and went down to the river and looked at frogs.
Yeah, it's the things you miss out on, really, because I can experience that.
But I'm
You know what I would do if I had the kind of money he did? I'd go to I'd go all over the place and go see like just so many amazing things.
willing to work my fingers to the bone to make something happen,
Yeah.
but not if we get to the point where it requires more people and we can't get to that point. And
Okay, once again, I work a white collar job. I'm not breaking rocks. I'm not going to pretend my life is hard. But for most of us, and I used to work in a movie theater for years and years and years. A lot of people, you have to go to a shitty job. You don't like it. Sometimes you enjoy it. Sometimes you don't. But if you don't like it, it's too bad. You got to go there and you have to toil away for like $10, $12, $15 an hour. Maybe you're lucky and you make $20, $30 an hour. And you will never, like I said, some people won't see in their entire lifetime what this dude sees in a month. And he's just complaining and acting like woe is me. And he has no appreciation.
and it just doesn't happen. So then the reassessment is, okay, so the ancillary investment projects clearly are over.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunate. But the issue then for these other shows and these other projects is they only exist off of the work that I do. If I show up in the morning and I do my morning show, I get to give a portion of the work that
Okay, I'm going to have to ask the chat a question. Would you rather watch Steel Toe Morning Show or the Timcast?
I do to them so that they can try and make something work. And,
How do I...
you know, I know they're trying as hard as they can, and some more successful than others, but it just becomes too burdensome to the point where unless they get off the ground and are able to maintain and manage themselves and make money, we can't do it anymore.
Right.
So that isn't necessarily the bearing on this show. The bearing on this show is there's a degree of staff required to run a show like this. And it's
You
I don't
can't
know.
lose power.
Also, why is he trying to open a coffee shop in West Virginia? Like, no disrespect to the people of West Virginia, but it's not really where I would expect a coffee shop to be profitable, like rural West Virginia.
And then lose your show.
What was that?
Like, you can't lose power, then lose your show.
What do you mean lose power?
Isn't that what happened at the other place?
No, the graphics card fried.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, we knew the computer was bad. We had repeatedly said we needed to get fixed, and it just never happens.
Okay.
So I'm like, hold on, man. Like, am I going to work 16 hours every single day to the bone and figuratively say I get no weekday sunsets so that someone else can be like, I ain't going to fix it?
Well, if you want to die of a heart attack very young, it's a good way to do
No,
it.
I'd be bored if I wasn't doing something. You know what I mean? So that's
To have a heart attack. Like, back when I used to work in, like, politics and public affairs stuff, during elections, I would sometimes be leaving the office at, like, 10 p.m. If there's, like, a big project, maybe there are times I left the office at, like, 12 or even 1 in the morning, and I would be chugging energy drinks, and that was rough. And I'm not gonna pretend that there aren't a lot of people who had it a lot worse, but like, these are not real problems, Tim.
That's why I'm like, I'm willing to do this, but this requires other people who are willing to do it too. And there are a lot of people here who are willing to do a lot more and go above and beyond. Like Raymond's sitting right here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I was like, yeah, you should sit in this one. And then there are a lot of people that are like, when can I put the knife in Tim's back?
Don't you find that's any level of fame though? And any
Yes.
level of notoriety at this
Can't
point?
run a company with those people in your company though.
No, you can't. And I mean, if you know who they are, what do?
Oh, you fire them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and,
it
there-
sucks.
and we've had people come through and try to burn us to the ground afterwards. And it's just like,
Yeah, there's
that's
swattings
reality.
and such.
We have people who come through and try to burn you to ground. Do you not get people to sign NDAs? Like, isn't that a standard that you make people sign NDAs? You make people sign legal documents that they can't talk? Like, you know what? He probably doesn't. He's probably that stupid.
Am I not allowed to say that? I shouldn't just.
To my understanding, the people I know who have worked in like public affairs, media, stuff like that, you normally have to sign some sort of NDA that says you're not going to reveal stuff that happened behind the scenes to prevent stuff like this happening.
Is there what?
What'd you?
The
Don't
swatting.
repeat it. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was
yeah,
here
yeah.
like when they was being swatted a lot.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
here for one of the swattings, weren't you?
No, it was like the next day. I just missed it by a hair. But
But
Yeah.
but and a lot of people don't understand too. The swattings were not like cops kicking the door down and storming in and us going like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like our security company got a phone call.
Except the first time.
The first time.
yeah.
the first one seemed pretty
The first and like the
swatty.
10th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
like
first one
Brett was
seemed
out
rough.
there on his hands and knees with his
Okay, so the swattings are like a nothing burger. It's like the cops call them and they're like, I don't know if people remember when DSP got swatted. So when DSP first moved into the condo, the serious adult house in Washington, he called the cops and he called the police department. He's like, look, I'm a streamer. This stuff might happen. He gave them a couple examples of similar things. Just be aware that if you get this call, it could be that. So the police, I forget if they called him first, but they just came to his door. They knocked. Leanna let them in. They did a quick sweep of the house. They said, "Have a nice day, sir," and they left. And that was DSP getting swatted. Like, once again, I'm not defending swatting. I'm just saying when Tim says he gets swatted like every other week, it's not like they're kicking the door down.
arms behind his head. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was like the cops opened the door and they were looking at me. And
By the way, if you guys haven't seen Office Space, it's Mike Judge, the guy who did King of the Hill and Idiocracy. Really good movie. One of the best like office comedy movies of all time, in my opinion.
they're waving at me. I'm like, what? I'm in the middle of a live show, dude. I'm not.
I mean, as you're closing, as you're thinking about that was 40K congruent viewers that night.
It was, but that wasn't the night everyone watched an empty room for 3 hours.
Yep. Oh, that was the
wasn't-
bomb.
That was
the
Chaircast.
bomb.
You're
Right.
thinking of Chaircast.
Okay, yeah,
Chaircast. That was when we had
That's
a
right.
credible
That's
bomb
right.
threat that
That's
forced
right.
an evacuation.
Yeah, I'm an
So
OG. I know
between
So
Chaircast.
I'll let you
Yeah.
in on some secrets too.
Bomb threats
So,
and
like-
swatting. I mean, I can't imagine why you're
Yeah.
tired.
Well, but it's not just that. I'm not tired. I want to work, but I want
Yeah.
to work effectively.
Sure.
And so
Jolly, I don't know if you just showed up or not, but Tim gets from the Russian or did get from the Russian government $100,000 per episode. So just keep that in mind.
there are ways to do big shows. Like I can keep doing my morning show. There's no issue.
Yeah.
I require 0 employees to do that. So I kind of feel like I shouldn't get paid less for like, so I'll give you some stories.
Does anyone even really like care enough about Tim Pool to go to his compound in West Virginia and plant a bomb? I kind of doubt it.
We've had instances of people who work here leaking private information to far leftists who are harassing and stalking us.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We've had instances of people stealing equipment, getting caught on camera. And it's just like, these things are normal. I totally get it.
Who's fee?
No, dude, it's not normal for people to be stealing equipment. Like he just says it like it's a mystery. He's like, yeah, people keep stealing stuff. Okay, press 1 in the chat if you think that Tim Pool fired the people who were caught on camera stealing equipment. press 2 if you think he just let it go and is like, gee, that's just normal for a businessman. That equipment gets stolen.
Hero is that?
My brothers.
Okay, sweet.
It's cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're talking about stealing stuff, and I just
And you're like, I
noticed
want that
so-
Fiero.
I want that Fiero.
Right when I got out, I was like, it's been a while since I've seen
He's
a
got two of them.
Fiero.
He does.
I like the red one I saw though, and I
Yeah.
remember. Anyway, I don't want to throw you off, but
No, but it's like, you know, this
it's been a while,
morning.
that's all I'm saying.
So it's we wrap the show Monday through Thursday around 11.
Yeah.
And then I have to go right to bed basically so that I can get enough sleep, and sometimes I don't. So then I wake up around 7:30 so I can eat breakfast, get ready, come in.
Is he acting like 7:30 is early to get up? I mean, yeah, Jolly Crocodile, he makes $100,000 per episode in direct funding from the Russian government. That's not including ad revenue or memberships or donations or merch or any of the other stuff. No, this dude makes probably $5 to $10 million a year. But that's not normal. Like, people, like, also you live on a compound. It's not like if you work in maybe like downtown of like a seedy city or something, then yeah, your office will probably get broken into or someone will do something. But you spend $50,000 a month on security and you have a problem with your employees stealing like it's insanity.
And then try and figure out how to get the show done.
Oh, sorry. The 7:30. That's actually the exact time I get up in the morning because I go to work at 8:30. Gives me time to have breakfast, get dressed, and then walk to work. Like that's a pretty normal time to get up, depending on how far away you work. I used to have to get up at like 6:30 because my commute was like 2 hours. But dude, that's not that bad.
As of recent, because we want to do Culture War, that means if I'm going to balance family and these shows and have the show be effective without dwindling into obscurity, I can't do 4 shows a week. You can't do it right now. Everybody's got content every single day of the week, so that means I need to do at least 5 days and then record extra content for the weekends so that I can have a persistent presence on the platform. Otherwise, YouTube punishes you. But it's also just about, like, are you a company that doesn't work 3 days out of the week? I mean, then people are going to go other places.
Can he get like one of his people to do clips for him? Like, if you want to put out more content on the weekend, get someone to do some clips from your week shows and put those out on the weekend. So you're uploading content, but you don't have to do anything directly.
The coffee shop's closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then no one's going to go there.
Go watch elsewhere.
However, I can't do all of these things at the same time. I can't wake up at 7, go in, the computer's fried, studio doesn't work, no backups were created. I have no means of producing the show that makes money to run the business. And I'm like, okay.
Like, once again, he talks about it like it's a mystery. Like, the computer's fried, it's not working. Like, what is he talking about? Do they not have they don't have compute? Like, doesn't he just need like OBS? Okay, people, maybe someone in the chat can explain this to me because I just might not understand this. Beyond the camera, the microphone, and a computer to run OBS, and I guess the lights, what is the tech that he needs? Like what is the tech that he needs that's so like that's complicated? Like once again, I just don't understand it. Like in this, we aren't showing any clips. Well, once again, you could just show clips on OBS or whatever software he uses. What is the? He's going to talk about like a do you need an expensive graphics card to run OBS? I don't even get it. Like, it's what? I don't know. I might just be stupid. I just might be stupid.
I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to make sure that I
like back when I used to do events, I just had my crappy like $500 laptop and I could stream off of that.
On and maintain and build the system. The first Timcast IRL studio that we built, I built by myself. All of it. Now we're at the point where
we had we streamed from a camera So the camera was hooked. We got a mobile internet box, and then there was a camera, and the camera would live stream the event. So
Where we've got multiple people and we've built this big studio, I don't know what is what. When I built the studio, I knew every output, I knew every input. Now I have no idea. So when the computer breaks, I'm like, I don't know why. Why can't I reboot the computer? I don't know. And so that means I can't turn it on. Where's the backup system? It was never set up. Okay, well, I can't do morning, night, and family stuff at the same time. Impossible. So at this point, it's a cascade of failures and, you know, straws on a camel's back where I'm like, okay, I don't think this is it. And so
It's not your failure, though.
And I'm taking this, or I'm taking this talking point from Kino Casino, like, dude, just buy an expensive computer. Like, my computer it was relatively expensive, I guess. I spent like, I don't know, $1,400-$1,600 on it. And I was able to get a really good computer that like had 32 gigs of RAM, great graphics card. Just say like, go to a computer store and go, look, I want something that fucking works, that's durable, that stuff like that. Like my workplace at the moment, we have I think it's Lenovo ThinkPads. Those things are indestructible. Those things will last for decades. They don't slow down. Are they really expensive? Yes, but they work. Also, do they only have one computer? They can't like switch. None of these people have laptops.
it is my failure.
Why, in the
Absolutely
hiring
my failure.
practice? How do you see it
The
that
person
way?
at the top.
Always. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it lies on you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they see.
I mean, I shouldn't rely on people. If I say the computer's broken, I need a backup studio, I should personally go and build a backup studio. The problem is I can't do everything.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but so there is something I can do. If I set up my own studio for my morning show and I can make sure it works and I can have, you know, youtube.com/TimCastNews, there will never be a failure ever again.
Yeah.
The show will run every single day.
Wait a minute, let's go back.
For my morning show and I can make sure it works and I can have, you know, youtube.com/TimCastNews, there will never be a failure ever again.
Yeah.
The show will run every single day. I will work a full day of work instead of a double day of work 5 days a week. And I'll make a lot of money doing it without doing a single ad read, all through programmatic YouTube ads. So if we've come to the point where I have to build the machines and run the show and be the CEO, then one of these things is I can't juggle them all.
Reality check. It's just Lenovo, Chinese state company, bought from IBM. Maybe it's Lenovo. I think it's Lenovo. Anyways, it doesn't matter. My point is, I just none of this makes any kind of sense. And now he's saying, look, I could just solve all my problems immediately. Why don't you just do that, Tim? Just run your fucking show, do your 8-hour days, make millions of dollars, be happy. Why do you have to have a compound and professional skaters? And it's insane.
Sure.
And so it seems like the most
This reminds me of when DSP goes, I used to build gaming PCs back during the 90s. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
reasonable thing to do right now is literally just go back to doing the morning show. No Timcast IRL, single hosted, 0 employees. And then I can produce content. And that'll be it.
Just do that. Like, once again, maybe have a couple employees, have like a guy who runs OBS, does the clips, like one tech guy, and then maybe like one guy who's your manager and does social media. And that's probably what you need.
And then I have to worry about running Timcast IRL.
Well, you twice today, I think you mentioned managerial issues.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons I've been talking
Is that
about
right at you?
No, and I'm not a
Okay.
manager.
I don't know. What's
I wish
going
I
on.
was.
I was just
we wouldn't have this
kidding.
problem.
I'm just trying to add some levity here.
I'm not convinced. I mean,
Yeah, well,
I've been talking about the managerial crisis in this country for like a year.
Sorry if people dislike this side. I've looked at building a computer. I've just never really, it just doesn't seem like very good value to me. I'm sure people are going to yell at me for that. But I normally will just get a computer when it's on sale. Like Best Buy will just have clearance sales where they'll have like computers really cheap. or just like it'll be like 50% off. It's just having when I started going through and I looked at like the processor and the graphics card and stuff, like it didn't make sense for me to build my own PC. I for the last decade I just exclusively buy Dell XPSs, and I find that they're great and they're good value. So.
And without getting into personal issues on the show.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, like, how's this all happening at once? It's like, exactly. It's like, no. We've been having like managerial struggles for a long time.
Yeah, because you have a good relationship with these guys, though. So it's like, how do you?
Yeah. Well, most people here, right?
Yeah. Well, of course.
But it's like, look at it this way. If everyone's 90% doing well, that extra 10% from each employee that they're missing, I have to do. And at a certain point, it's not possible.
Well, and the extra 10% is what each person has to do to actually get.
Okay,
to thrive.
I'm sorry. We're gonna do a little field trip here for a second. Okay, that 90% reminds me of this. We're just gonna look. This is how Tim Pool thinks of management.
Scott Steiner, it's going to be a three-way for the TNA heavyweight title at Sacrifice between you, Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe. Now, before you get there, you have an important step tonight as you and X Division champion Petey Williams take on the unlikely duo of Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and two-thirds chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 and two-thirds percent. I got 141 and two-thirds chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
Sorry, I just love that clip. Somebody actually added that up. Apparently the guy that wrestler has a degree in like mathematics or something, and that the math actually does work. But that just reminds me of that. One sec. Let's just listen to this again.
Yeah. So for a lot of people, like, how's this all happening at once? It's like, exactly. It's like, no. We've been having like managerial struggles for a long time.
Yeah, because you have a good relationship with these guys, though. So it's like, how do you?
Yeah. Well, most people here, right?
Yeah. Well, of course.
But it's like, look at it this way. If everyone's 90% doing well, that extra 10% from each employee that they're missing, I have to do. And at a certain point, it's not possible.
Well, and the extra 10%.
If everyone's doing 90% of what they're doing, then he has to do the extra 10%. See, I'm a genetic freak. So I have 30 employees. Then I take 10% from each employee. That's the job of 3 extra people. So I've been doing 400% of the job of a normal employee. But I work 16 hours a day. So you take my 100%, you times that by 2, and then I have 500%. So I'm doing the work of 5 employees. There we go. I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
10% is what each person has to do to actually get it to thrive. That's the difference between 90 and 100.
Well, I mean, the challenge is, right now, the big challenge is that anybody capable of doing it will do it on their own. And that's, social media has created that potentiality, and that's fine. But if I go...
Okay, this might be the single most delusional part. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to let this play through, and then we're just going to listen to it, because this is one of the most insane. Like, this is how, like, retarded this dude is.
That's the difference between 90 and 100.
Well, I mean, the challenge is, right now, the big challenge is that anybody capable of doing it will do it on their own. And that's, social media has created that potentiality, and that's fine. But if I go to someone who is talented and capable and I say, hey, we need a person who can film skateboarding, for instance, they're going to say, I'll just make my own YouTube channel and go film it myself. I don't need to work for you. And I'm like, fair point. You're right. So then we find someone and we're like, what about you? You seem to be able. And they're like, sure. And then 3 months goes by and we don't do anything.
But what's more your passion? Like, what's your...
What? Like, okay, that is... So his claim, there's no unemployed people with tech skills who want to work for a paycheck. Like, this is this meme that I keep hearing. Like, a lot of people would rather have a paycheck. Like, a lot of people would rather have 9 to 5. Also, like, you start your own YouTube channel, how are you going to become successful? The Timcast, for whatever reason, is successful. You know that you're going to get paid. You're working on a prestigious show. You can levy that experience, make some connections, put it on your resume, go, look, I worked on this actual like program. So in Tim's world, in Tim's world, it's so stupid. Anybody could just go and film like themselves skateboarding, and they'll make $100,000 a show. What? Like, it's so retarded. I can't even like. I can't like. Does he actually believe that? Does he actually believe that there's not a single person with tech skills who can hold a camera or can run OBS, or there's not a single unemployed computer science major or person with media experience they can hire, that every single person with that is going to do their own job? Like, I don't know, dude. This guy is insane. Or he just lives in a bubble. I don't know. Does he think everyone just gets funding from the Russian government? Yeah, so people are talking about Sargon. Sargon, like, I actually watch his his show. Like, okay, let's take another field trip. Let's just pull up a random episode of. We aren't going to watch it. I just want to like make a point. Okay, so we have professional night. Let's compare the thumbnails between Sargon and Tim. Okay, so we have that. I think Sargon's look a lot better. Okay, let's just open this.
I think.
Okay, we got a professional looking studio. We have like someone actually running the camera. We have like split screen. It looks very polished. Sargon's actually wearing like decent clothing. Let's see here. Like it looks good, and Sargon has a quarter of the subscribers. Also, Sargon's like show is actually interesting. I actually watch it quite a bit because they have interesting takes. There's likable people on it. I'm just saying, like, it's not rocket science. If Sargon of Akkad can figure this shit out, then why can't you?
Enjoyment now. Do you still like doing it? This is it. Yeah.
And so that's why it's frustrating when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, holy crap, Trump on the fryer.
Yeah.
Look at, I was like, and then there's so much I wanted to talk about. And
yeah, that was a big story.
I can't talk about any of it. Like one of the Krasensteins attacked Trump saying he's attacking Kamala for not being at McDonald's. Can he prove he was at 9/11 clearing out rubble? And I'm like, here's a picture of Donald Trump that was from ABC News of down on.
By the way, as kind of, I'll say this. Sorry if I'm doing some digressions, but Sargon is kind of like the opposite of these people, where he started out as kind of a bit of a loser and a bit of a lolcow, but he's completely turned his life around. Sargon's gotten so much better, just in terms of his professionalism, in terms of his takes. Like, it is kind of a white pill, at least in his case.
After a week after 9/11, like,
yeah.
Trump just said he was down there, helped a little bit.
Well,
yes.
Allegedly, Tim Walsh is doing DoorDash, so you got that going.
Is that a joke?
What?
Yes. But I just want to see what they would do in return.
Wait, who's that dude?
Allegedly, Tim Walsh is doing DoorDash, so you got that going.
Is that a joke?
I admit I get Tim Walsh and Tim Pool mixed up. Are they the same person? Or
What? Yes.
Who is that guy? That guy looks like, I don't know, he looks like Ethan Ralph's long lost cousin. Like, who is that dude?
But I just want to see what they would do.
I
in
just snorted
return.
online. Thank you for that.
But it's believable. That's why
Isn't
I'm
it?
like,
I know.
he's doing too. Yeah. There's a Newsweek article where they're like, rumors
But
circulate.
like, dude, how is Sargon able to have an actual studio that like looks nice and professional? Also, the camera quality looks way better than Tim's.
On the internet that Donald Trump's McDonald's job was staged. And I was like, do they think that Trump applied at McDonald's and then showed up for work?
People are they're trying to. Oh,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're trying to kill him. So what do they think? He's just gonna walk in there and be like, "Hey,
I know.
serve some regular people."
Yeah, you don't. Anywhere with guns is bad. Even your own shrubs at your golf course.
Yeah. And then I saw a bunch of people being like, he pre-screened all the people who were getting food. And I'm like, yeah, because they just want to get shot.
Well, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, like
It's
duh.
ridiculous. Well, so anyway, like I'm all yesterday, like I'm seeing this stuff and I'm revved up. And I'm like, well, I have family stuff to take care of. I can't, like I'm spending time with my family, you know? I can't just do the show 7 days a week. There was one weekend where I was like, I think I'll do
You
shows on the
tried
weekend.
to. You tried.
I have to spend more time with the family. That's always the excuse that they give. I think what he was saying there is like, I couldn't cover Trump getting shot, or I couldn't cover Trump at McDonald's because I need to spend time with my family. Like, dude, you work in media. It's just get it done. Like, you can take a day off where something important isn't happening. Like, the McDonald's story was a big story. The assassination attempt was a big story. Like, fuck.
I too.
And then, you know, my family doesn't get too happy about that.
I hear you.
Yeah,
You can't do
You
it.
got to be happy outside of work as well.
Yeah, and I got responsibilities to other people too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, you'll lose your sanity. So I mean, if
Amen.
you still
no, I
what
want to
you
do the show.
love-
you want to.
Also, none of these people are fucking adult. Like, it's like, oh, I can't do my job and do other stuff outside of it. And like, it sucks, man. Like, it does suck. It does suck. You come home, you're often really tired after a day of work, and you don't want to do other stuff. But dude, you have so much, you can just pay people to do stuff for you. Like, you can pay people to clean your house. You don't have to worry about that. You can get people to bring you groceries. Like, you don't have to do a lot of the boring shit that the rest of us have to do.
I feel like you
7
want to
days a
do
week.
it, but you don't want to do it, right?
No, I want to come in the morning and complain.
Yeah.
And I mean complain in a somewhat self-deprecating way. What I mean is
Sure.
there are things that I think people should be aware of. And I also want to express how I feel about the current goings on. And it's a lot of people like watching it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the only reason I say this may be the last episode is that I have a bit of guilt of like the people who really are accustomed to and feel they need and that the world benefits from us doing the show.
Survivor's guilt.
Is that what it is?
I
think it
think
is?
that's a form of it.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying 100%. But
What a fucking F-slur. Survivor's guilt? Over... Whoa, buddy. Let's just go back and listen to that again. This is... I don't know.
It's a lot of people like watching it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the only reason I say this may be the last episode is that I have a bit of guilt of like the people who really are accustomed to and feel they need and that the world benefits from us doing the show.
Survivor's guilt.
Is that what it is?
I think
is?
that's a form of it.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying 100% by folks who are waiting for this. Like I still wait for the 10 a.m. If it's not there, then I'm like, what
Yeah.
the F's going on?
Yeah.
What a fucking ball washer. What a dick sucker. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
this
get
show's
that
an
aspect.
accident too.
I mean,
this
I
show's a
mean-
complete accident. The
yeah.
show wasn't supposed to exist.
What
The
happened?
reason why,
Oops. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
so
about that.
there's the reason why I say it may be the last is we had a conversation today, Allison and I, about what's the most effective means.
I'm
world.
sorry.
And-
Where was I in it before? Let me just look at my video.
Friday, Saturday, you can watch the horses run at order
That
food
was,
and hang out.
crap. So I had a button. Don't worry, I'm a professional. Okay, I was at about 20 minutes. Okay.
Get too happy about that.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You can't do
You
it.
got to be happy outside of work as well.
It's
duh.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, like I'm all yesterday, like I'm seeing this stuff and I'm revved up, and I'm like, well, I have family stuff to take care of.
So I mean, if
Amen.
you're still
No, I
doing
want
what
to do
you
the show.
love,
you want
I
to
feel
do
like you
7
want to
days a
do
week.
it, but you don't want to do it, right?
No, I want to come in the morning. The reason I say this may be the last episode is that I told them all, you're nuts. I'm going to build a van and go live down by the river. and I was only half kidding. I told them I was only half kidding. I built a van with a computer,
Yeah,
a
it's
studio.
legit.
I think I remember that video you posting. You're like, you had a van in the background.
Yeah,
you're
it was
building
it's
I
on
remember
this
that video.
channel.
It's a really nice van, by the way, folks.
What kind?
Not anymore.
I
It
mean,
was a
still-
Ford,
yeah, it
like
is.
Eco line?
It's clean.
F-150 or something. Like
No, everything. Off-road tires too. 'Cause
actually, no.
giant-
The show done. Shout out to everybody. I'm currently hanging out in Austin, and come hang out, and we're gonna do Timcast in real life, where I just talk with random people.
Yeah.
I do remember that was one of the first things you talked about, was like having like regular folk. Like I guess I might be the first
Right.
regular folk on the job. Like you just get people plumbers once a week or something like that. Just
Well,
bring
the,
in-
What is it that guy has around his neck? Is that like a robot? And then what's the other thing he has? It looks like a whistle. Is that like a rape whistle or something? I don't know.
the original plan was to sit down
No
and
offense.
sort of like change my mind, or Charlie Kirk
Wait. He built a news van that he never used. What?
does.
Yeah.
Be like, who wants to sit down and just have a conversation? And literally be like, hey, today in the news was this. Like, hey, what do you think about what's going on? And I'll show you the stories. And it was just because I like talking to people, but because of COVID, we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I
what
was
gonna
like,
say. I thought it was because of COVID. Was mainly
Right.
the reason why you're doing that. Yeah.
couldn't travel anymore. And I used to fly on two flights every week when I worked for these other companies. So like
Yeah, during
travel's what I
COVID,
do.
I just kept traveling, but it was very hard. Like you weren't supposed to, but it's like if you're short, you can just walk past people in the military
They don't
and
see
just
you.
keep moving.
They don't notice. They're looking up.
Yeah, I'll be like, I gotta pee. I'll be right back. They're like, yeah, he'll come back. He'll be afraid, and then I would just walk out the door. It's pretty good. I did an entire year in New York. Sorry if that's still a crime, I guess.
You know, maybe we'll do something like this.
There, but that's just because not a great reader.
Well, if I did sell them, 500,000 could be like 10 to 15 grand
Yeah.
for one read on one video. Imagine if I was getting
Wait a minute. Let's,
and
what is this?
I never really did any legit ad reads. So like I'm talking like Daily Wire style ad reads.
I'll tell you, me neither, but that's just because not a great reader.
Well, if I did sell them, 500,000 could be like 10 to 15 grand
Yeah.
for one read on one video. Imagine if I was getting that every single day. I wasn't.
Wait. Whoa. This dude could read like a 2-minute ad and get five. Wait, did he say 15 grand?
Great reader.
Well, if I did sell them, 500,000 could be like 10 to 15 grand
Yeah.
for one read on one video. Imagine if I was getting that.
10 to 15 grand for one read on one video. Could you guys like imagine that kind of money? That's like life-changing money. Like my entire trip to Europe probably cost like $4,000 to $5,000 Canadian, and that's being liberal. That's being liberal with an estimate. It probably costs less than that, but this dude could get $15,000 by reading like one ad, and he's too lazy to even do that. And that's per video. I forget how many videos this dude does. Like, well,
Every single day. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And so then I had youtube.com/TimCastNews. And between the two of them, it was like 3 to 4 million per day. And I think it was upwards of like 60, 70 million a month.
60, 70 million views a month. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, and I will stress now, like a lot of these other channels are getting like 100 to 150 million, but those are including shorts, which is
What a bitch. Now he's complaining he doesn't get 150 million views.
a lot easier to produce. So, you know, but
You have a clips channel though.
for IRL,
Yeah.
the clips are on IRL.
Yeah.
It's the same channel.
Yeah, same
Oh,
channel.
it is the same channel.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
channel.
okay.
Post later. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's pros and cons to that. It's tough. It's hard. It's like if the people are going to watch the show every night anyway, then they don't need a notification.
Yeah, ours is both where, you follow that algorithm, but then it doesn't know if you want to be a long show or a short show, and you can't figure out any of it.
Exactly.
But then doesn't it change too how when people
Like, once again, these guys are focusing on the wrong thing. They're talking about algorithms. They're talking about content posting. Dude, your problem isn't the algorithm. The point is that you hired 30 people who do fuck all and 10 contractors. And you're just incompetent and retarded. That is your problem. Your problem isn't the YouTube algorithm.
are searching for the show, you get a clip, and they want the the 20-minute version.
Well, here's the thing. So, Sean John Ron says he doesn't need to do that the ad read since he was being paid by the Russian government to do a show. That's true, but I mean, stuff like this doesn't last forever. for a lot of these people, they make a bunch of money and then their show collapses or they lose that funding or stuff like that. So you want to make as much cash as possible and then invest it in secure ways. If you want to do some other stuff, maybe, but make sure you have that cushion of a couple $1,000,000 so you'll be fine when this comes out and you'll have steady income for the rest of your life. Like it's not rocket science.
The 20-minute
version of you say you do clips or maybe not IRL, but your morning shows or anything.
The morning
shorter
shows have
clips.
always been segments that I would just
Yeah.
upload throughout the day.
Yeah,
And
fairly new.
what I was gonna say is when we started IRL, it cannibalized the morning show. So the morning show peaked at the 34th biggest podcast in the world, and when IRL launched, half the viewers stopped. And when IRL launched, we started IRL, it cannibalized the morning show. So the morning show peaked at the 34th biggest podcast in the world, and when IRL launched, half the viewers stopped watching that and started going to the audio Timcast IRL show. And I said, no, I don't know. I thought people probably like the conversation nature of it more than the monologuing show. But same, So then now the Tim Pool morning show, Tim Pool Daily News show or whatever, is not in the top 200. Sometimes it jumps up to like 190, but then it falls off again. And Timcast IRL, I think, was recently like number 160 in the world. But that's audio side. YouTube side, we do get, it's a big show and we get a lot of views.
I'm 20,006.
Is that what your number is?
No.
Oh.
I'm guessing it's lower.
So is this dude complaining about his views, his numbers, his income? Like get it together. What you have is something that most people can only dream of. Like the amount of fame, of fortune, of people who look up to you. It's something that most of us can't even imagine. And and he's sitting here complaining and bitching. Have some fucking gratitude, man. Have some gratitude towards your viewers, towards the people who supported you. Have some gratitude towards the Russian government. He's just sitting here and seething like a bitch about how he's only making like $5 million a year. And like he inflicted all of this stuff. What a fucking disgusting human being. Like, it actually does kind of piss me off. Maybe I shouldn't be getting that angry about it, but it's just this fucking like entitled soy, like people here, like people in the chat. Can you imagine if you made in like 1 year what this dude made? He's just, I don't know.
Yeah. But, so anyway, it's like, it comes to a point where it's like, now I'm working 16 hours a day for a diminishing return.
Right.
Whereas before I could have been getting 60, 70 million just up doing a morning show.
Diminishing return. Dude.
Being done with work by 4 p.m., being able to do family stuff, plan investments, maybe work on skateboard videos. If I wasn't doing, and so IRL is basically a diminishing return where now there's just 15 Tim Pool videos going up every single day and only so many Tim Pool fans. Mm-hmm. So it's like if I consolidated it down, would we get 40% of the IRL viewership to just watch the morning show again, and is IRL just count?
I don't know. Like, am I out of line here? Like, does this actually piss anybody off in the chat? Like, does anyone else think this is gross? Like, I find this really distasteful, to be honest. Like have some gratitude. Like, you know what? I don't get the most views, but I try to periodically say that I love you guys. The fact that some of you show up to listen to me ramble on and you find that entertaining and you might learn something, that means the world to me. That is I love the comments, even when, well, I don't get that much negative feedback, but like it's amazing. Like, I never thought I would have people who would care about what I had to say and would listen to me and stuff like that. It's been a great experience. As I've said, I met Serp, I met Terrellian, I've met Fritz. I've met people here who will be friends for the rest of my life. Some of the best people I've ever met. And this man just has no gratitude for any of it. He has no gratitude.
Cannibalizing. Would we lose? How much would we lose? I don't know. But the issue is the Tim Pool morning show requires 0 employees, 0 management. It requires nothing.
Yeah, and Base Caulfield did make a good point. Why did he make this? why did he think this was a good idea? To just, like, he's stabbing all that, like, he's just shitting on all his employees. He's saying they're lazy, they're incompetent. Apparently he didn't even, like, tell them. This is how he told them that they were fired.
Thing. I'm not going to deal with lawsuits. Yep. I'm not going to deal with security issues. Literally just wake up, handle it all by myself, and run a successful show.
Okay, once again, dude, you spend $50,000 a month on security. You could hire like a Delta Force operator, like literally a Delta Force actual operator to be your bodyguard, probably for $100,000, maybe $200,000 a year. I don't know how much you have to pay them, and that dude will like what?
I wouldn't have to rely on members to sustain the staff required to do a show like this or anything.
And I mean, it's sad. It's like with Ricada when he was getting 100,000 viewers. I think, and this is something I've learned, and this is something in particular I learned when I became a Christian. And I know we don't like Dennis Prager here, but he said something that I think changed my life. He said, the key to happiness is gratitude. The single most important thing in being happy and in living a good life is to be grateful for the things that you have. And if you're not, if you're resentful, if you're like this guy who feels the world owes you something, then you're going to be a miserable human being no matter what you have. And this dude has no gratitude. Nick Ricada doesn't. DSP doesn't. And that's one of the things that I find so distasteful about all these people. And I used to somewhat defend DSP, but he just came out and he's like, look, yeah, I lied to you. I said that I needed the money for my house and that I was going to be homeless. And then I took the money and spent it on a mobile game. And it's like, it's fuck you if you thought, like, it's,
you know?
Have you been sued a lot?
Yes.
I would assume, yeah. Not as a negative, I just assume.
And I'll tell you, like, what the problem I have with it is, I think, you know, without I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I just don't think anybody cares when I say that I had to write a check for $30,000 because someone here fucked up, and then it's just like, keep calm and carry on, not my fault. And I'm like, yo, I'm paying myself less than my morning show makes. If I just did my morning show,
I'm paying myself less than the morning show make. Is that before or after taxes? What? Of course, like, I don't even. What? I'm paying myself less than what my business makes. Like, what?
oh, I'm putting more money in my pocket.
Yeah.
The company has a profit. That profit stays in the company. At the end of the year, the profit stays there so that we can make sure that there's a buffer. So the company makes money. At the end of the year, there's some profit. It will go to me automatically. And then I try to make sure there's money aside so that everyone gets paid. But I do kind of feel like we're at the point where it's and end it all except for, so there's the reason why I say it may be the last is we had a conversation today, Allison and I, about what's the most effective means of managing the issue. And it's, okay, maybe what we do is we end 70%. We would keep Timcast IRL, a skeleton crew, to have it operate, the morning show.
Like, what's a skeleton crew? Like 20 people to this dude?
And the Boonies. We'd have one single secondary investment outside of the shows.
Right.
And that would allow me more time to be hands-on to make sure that it operates properly. But that's more so just like, yeah, but doing that is still trying to justify why we have to.
Okay, but Vic Palpatine, I agree with you. I just wanted to read his comment. To be fair, trying to run a business doesn't leave a whole lot of room for gratitude. Gratitude if the whole MMO is just constant growth. Still not an excuse to be shitty like Tim is being, though. Yeah, but he gets his money from or he did get his money from the Russian government, so.
To keep working as hard as possible.
Is your property more for your crew or because it's something you wanted?
Doing the Freedomistan Boonies show.
Oh, that stuff, yeah.
It's what I wanted.
Okay.
And it's like, there's actually several big components to it. Skateboarding is dead.
Yeah, but it's fun.
The skateboard industry collapsed.
Yeah, oh, for sure it did.
And
I used to be a poser, thank you.
Oh, that's well, you tried.
Well, I would just get high and then I would watch my friends skateboard. I had a Cheech and Chong board for a minute.
What year was that? 91?
96.
That's when I was boarding back in the day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like I love skateboarding.
I did
and,
too. Well, not really.
We've got, you know, some of our buddies are some, you know, big pros and they love skateboarding.
Yeah, they're
And
awesome.
everyone's like, I've talked to some of the biggest guys in the industry and they're like, skateboarding is dead.
My
some
son
of the biggest
loves it.
Some of the biggest shoe companies are collapsing.
Yeah.
And that's the heart and soul of the skateboard industry is
Yeah,
like
they're
skate
comfy.
shoes.
Yeah, like
DCs
Vans
are
and
the-
DCs and all
DCs
that.
are so...
Well,
It's like New Balance and stuff now as well.
New Balance.
Yeah.
A lot of
Vans is
different-
fine
Nike,
because
Nike
Vans
Vans.
is an urban generic.
Yeah. I read,
yeah,
like,
Vans
anybody will
has
wear those.
become like, you can get them at Kohl's,
What
you
does
know?
this have
Yeah.
to do with anything? What does the collapse of the skateboard industry have to do with this board meeting? Is that the cope? Is the cope that like I don't know.
They still make DCs, though.
Yeah, DC's fine. Like
Yeah.
mall brands are fine.
Yeah.
But there were core brands. I think Soul Tech was one of them, and they sold
Soul
recently.
Tech is gone. Yeah, my booker used to work there. And then there's also, what was it? Echo?
Echo, I remember Echo.
Is
that-
Etnies
is that gone?
Etnies was the one.
Etnies was Soul
one?
Tech. Was that Soul Tech?
Was,
Okay,
that might
we're
have been
gonna
part of Soul
skip
Tech.
ahead.
Oh,
Second was
as the
skaters.
money evaporates.
Yeah, we go.
Well, skateboarding's
Well, fake skated.
skateboarding's
So it's dead. I got
high
consolidating
with
as the
skaters.
money evaporates.
Okay.
People, and it's because you're not getting kids to skate. And so part of it was like, well, I want to skate, but we want skateboarding to persist. We want young people to skate. We want kids to be inspired to skate. We want to cheer for that kid who lands his first kickflip.
Yeah.
A lot of world firsts have been accomplished in the past couple of months.
Yeah.
I think it was Guy Curry who landed the kickflip body varial 900?
That name sounds familiar because I heard
Might
you
have
talk
been.
about it, so I'm not sure.
I'll
I think it was
pose
Geek.
and be like, yeah.
But it's just
Totally.
it's like a tremendous feat. But the industry is dead, and so there's two things: there's my passion, and there's the opportunity. Skateboarding's in the Olympics, so there's going to be investment. But likely, what's going to happen is
You have
it's
an
going.
Olympian in your house right now.
Indeed,
Yeah.
Really?
we do.
Yeah,
Yes.
for real. Yeah, I was talking
Yeah.
to her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But if the Olympics comes in 2028 and everyone just backs off, it's going to get picked up by like the equivalent of a tobacco company, like a nameless guy in a suit who's like, skateboarders should be wearing unitards, and that's where we're headed.
I think if
Okay, we're
Marlboro
gonna take another
buys it,
field
though-
trip because this is unendurable. This reminds me. This reminds me of the video I made. This was back when it's not really important, but what the context of it was. But this was back like Fuentes was in trouble for something, and he had his surrogates go on the kill stream to defend it. And this was the cope that they came up with, and it's just kind of the generic thing that I say whenever somebody's doing this.
It's flat. What's the plan? The Earth is flat.
Patriots are in control.
We have it all. Patriots are in control. I mean, if you can't see the vindication,
Patriots are in control.
Patriots are in control.
same
So
type
this
of
is
stuff.
Patriots.
Fuentes'
present the
defense,
argument
right?
as
Trust the
some
plan.
type
You're
of
all patriots.
moral conquest against.
Just
Yo, do you think we're on a globe, dude? Are we on a globe right now? What do you think?
Are we on a globe?
Flat Earth Boxer has kind of red pilled me on this a little bit.
Oh my God.
Why are we talking about flat Earth? What does this have to do with movement? This movement is running. So Fuentes' damage control is now consisting of avowing flat Earth.
Oh, there's a chance it might thrive again.
The Cowboys?
Actually, to be fair,
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're under a lot of regulations. So.
Yeah, they are. That's true. But I mean, with skating,
I warned a bunch
Okay,
of
this is
skateboarders
unbearable. We're gonna skip
the
ahead.
crap out of me. But it was just my ski got stuck in a mogul.
and you flipped forward.
Yeah, dude.
Oof.
It was
Wait,
a
wait,
high
wait.
knob in Michigan.
Were you going down moguls?
I was going down the Black Diamond because I decided
Black
I'd
Diamond?
Do it. Like I feel like the reality is just skateboarding is dead. Just complain.
Yeah, and I mean, I just put
Pretty
up a
good at it.
movie that I made called The King, and it did really well. I pulled it off in 24 hours. I was surprised how many people.
It's satirically exploring their own worldview. The 2 p.m. members hang out where we do like the members only show Q&A. Not only that, but if I did the morning show and then depending on how I want to run it, setting a time. So it's if I recorded a handful of segments early in the morning,
Yeah.
and then from like 1 to 2 did some kind of interview show like IRL, which was much simpler, and then record a couple more segments, I could be done by 4 and not going to bed at 11. So the schedule for IRL also makes it very difficult. The other challenges that we have is travel, booking. Like the morning show doesn't have any of these requirements, and we don't do Zoom, and Zoom is not good.
No, it sucks.
No, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
And everybody's like, do the Zoom interviews. And it's like,
Those are terrible.
yeah, it's going to suck when that takes over, but it will.
Zoom is dead. Well, there's other things like there's Discord, there's Skype. Like, what does it? These are just all such like non sequiturs.
Because this is a component of automation where it's like, it's not literal automation, but
It's guides. It's automation. It's the skateboard industry. It's that the Earth is flat. It's that patriots are in control. It's not that I hired like 30 useless people.
if you go to a business and you say, we're going to do a show with these real.
Can anybody even follow? Like, okay, so I'm just gonna ask chat. What is the point of this? What is it that he wants to convey to the audience? Is this just him complaining about how bad his life is? Is this him making excuses for why he's too lazy to do the show? Like, what is it that he wants from his audience? What is it that he wants to hear from people? It's the like, I don't. Also, what's the point that he's trying to make here with Zoom and Skateboard? Like, is this what?
Really great in-person conversations. It's going to cost us, X amount per year. Then someone else says, I'll do the same show with the same guests, but zero travel and accommodation costs, no ancillary staff for accommodating guests, because we'll do it digitally. I tell you every time what the business is going to choose.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. And that's why quality fails.
But doesn't Tucker get live guests? Am I wrong? People in chat can correct me. Doesn't Tucker get live guests all the time for his show, and his show's super successful? Like, it's such a childish way of looking at the world. It's like, either we have 100% live guests or we have no live guests. It's like, that's not how it works. You could have some live guests, you could have some in person. Like, these are not problems.
But the problem is when you put two businesses to compete with each other and one tries to be in person.
Also, is it just me or does Tim Pool sound almost exactly like Mundane Matt? I don't know. It just reminds me of that.
Person and one is digital.
Yeah.
Digital will win every time.
Of course.
Because even though the quality is lesser, the output will be more and they'll bury you.
Yep.
So they can be like, I can interview a celebrity tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, we can't. They'll say, like, I don't know when I'll be able to make it out there. I don't know if I'm going to.
You got to fly him in and all that baloney. Okay.
Let's say we want to get Jordan Peterson on the show. And we've talked to him, and he's like, I'd like to come out at this time. Maybe we'll figure it out. If we had Zoom, he'd be like, oh, I can Zoom tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so these other people who want to hear that, it's not as good.
that was a good voice.
Spot on.
Didn't mean to laugh, but yeah.
You know what I'll do? We'll have the cameras give out, and then I'll do all the voices, and I'll be like, Trump and Jordan Peterson are here right now with me. It's live in person. I trust me.
You bring back Fauci.
Just have two impersonators all the time.
Sorry. So the issue is Jordan Peterson can't come out to the middle of nowhere in West Virginia, but he doesn't want to use Zoom to call them, and there's no other program that he can use. He can't use StreamYard. He can't. I don't even know what to say.
I made that joke with Seamus before. I was like, let's just do like an audio podcast, and we'll do the best show ever, and Seamus will just do the voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I've been thinking about. Like, if I were to do what I just described, it requires zero staff.
I would actually like to listen to a show where you're just interviewing people pretending.
No, but seriously, does anyone else think that he sounds like exactly like Mundane Matt? I don't know.
To be that person.
Actually, that'd be a good show for you.
Take it seriously the whole time, though. Like, never let it break. It is that person.
That actually is a good idea for a funny show.
I would do it.
You should do it.
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Honestly, if you told me that this was Mundane Matt, and I wasn't hearing the if I wasn't looking at the video, I would actually believe that.
Like people that are pretend, and then I won't know.
Tyler Fisher.
Oh, I love Tyler.
Have him do Trump and then interview him as if he's Trump.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there in his beard.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not even noticing.
That would be pretty fun. It would be like Between Two Ferns or whatever. You know, you could do something.
Okay, like, just a lot of the shows that I watch, John Mearsheimer comes on all the time. He's a boomer. He's probably not the most tech savvy. He's able to do a good interview, and people love it, and it gets hundreds of thousands of views. If John Mearsheimer can figure it out, and Daniel Davis can figure it out, and all these like boomers can figure it out, and they can do good interviews over the internet, why can't Tim Pool?
Something like that.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
But do you enjoy IRL? You enjoy it, right? You like
Yeah,
talking and
it's
having
just
a good time.
heavy. It's a very heavy object. You know, the time
It's a lot of
slot
moving
is
parts.
extremely heavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The I mean, like, it's a funny thing. Like, our speakers, we have no idea why, but a channel has been missing from them. And even on the new machine, for some reason, a channel is missing. So it's like we were playing 2 weeks
I
from
don't know
all
what
that
that means, by the way, guys. But
So I'll explain. We played 2 weeks from All That Remains, and the song, the first 30 seconds of the song is just a snare drum going. Because the song starts with guitar.
We can't figure out how to do speakers. We can't get decent. Like, dude, you can buy the best of everything. Like, you can have Bose. I don't know. I'm a pleb, so I don't know if Bose are the best or not. But, like, you don't have working speakers? You can't pay somebody who knows what they're doing. Like, it's, I don't know. You know what? I think there's something else going on here. I'm gonna be very charitable to Tim and say there's something else is going on behind the scenes beyond him just losing his Russia sponsorship and whatever else is going on. I don't know if someone's running a 24-hour op against him or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But the channel is missing, so it's not there.
Oh, so you're just hearing the bass?
You only hear the snare drum and nothing else.
That's it? Oh, God.
Yeah. And we're like, well, we
Phil
can't
puts out
figure
great
out
music.
Yeah,
that's great
some
stuff.
kind of cancellation is coming in where
It's like Yoko Ono, though. I mean, there's a market.
it may be that the sound is doubling up.
Yeah.
I'm not a sound engineer, but the sound they could be canceling themselves out.
I think it's just the output matrix. I looked into it enough, like in the last 2 or 3 days.
That's the other thing too. It's like we've tried doing. There's a bunch of stuff we want to do with road shows. It's so incredibly difficult to do.
Why?
I love those, but yeah, it's very hard to get everybody together to do one thing.
Super expensive.
Yeah.
No, but dude, I used to do live events. Like it's not that hard. You go there, you can get cameras that have the software built in to auto stream to Facebook or YouTube or whatever. You hook it up to Starlink or whatever your internet thing is. You hit the play button, you move the camera around a little. Like, this stuff is not complicated.
Yeah, we weren't able to get our election show going. So we've been planning for a year. Like, this is the 2024 election. We need to have a big show up and running. And then if I'm not doing it, it doesn't happen. That's actually, here, I can explain everything. If I don't do it, it doesn't happen.
Hold on. Can I talk back on this? Yeah. I don't have anything to do with the technical terminology. I only know what I can do. But hearing you as...
what is it you do? Like, who even is this dude?
Myself, who's, I used to super chat in like, Tim, you want to put a fucking TV... Yep.
I already swore. It's whatever. Yep.
Is this guy special needs? Like, is he a charity case? Who is this dude?
You want to put up, you want to put up a TV? I'll come down because I'm only 2 hours away. I'll put the TV up for you. I don't get that aspect. Like,
when did we want to put? We got the big screen up at Freedom right now.
Yeah.
When did we first plan that?
It was beginning of July because we wanted it, or June. At the beginning of June.
It's been 4 months.
Yeah. Well,
to get a TV.
To be honest with you,
to get a projector screen installed on the wall.
But
what?
Hold on.
I'll do it.
Yeah, but it's already done. Oh. but the thing was, I got to make some tweaks. The thing was, like, I gave the information out to the managerial people.
Hey,
I'm just saying, that's just how it was. And then 2 months later, we're on IRL.
Hey, I got a super chat from TK. Thank you very much. Dim Fool knows that everything politics related is about to fall off a cliff after the elections are done, so he's starting drama. Now he has eyes on everything. Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, a lot of people are just very clickbaity and just kind of news reading. And I think there's always going to be some of that. But if you don't have anything else, like if people don't like your personality or think you're funny or think you're interesting or like your takes, and they only come to you for the news, then that's a hard place to be.
Live, you're like, it's not up yet. You haven't ordered it. I'm like, no, sir, because I don't have no say in that matter.
And then
I don't have no say in that, Missa Tim Pool. I can't say that on YouTube. Your porch something.
We got it. It was been up. We got it. It was up in 3 days after we got it.
But what about the speakers?
I don't. Nobody told me.
This is just.
We can't, like, they're complaining about not being able to put up a what? He wants to. They're having trouble putting up a TV.
thing. Like
Nobody, I would do it.
The lifting required to make everything happen is like, I have to go with a clipboard and be like, mush.
Well, put Raymond in charge, and you won't have to say mush anymore.
With all due respect, though, I don't think, and it's not personal.
Yeah.
I just think everyone feels that they could, and then they can't.
I've worked in large companies. There's way less bureaucracy. There's a lot of bureaucracy, but there's less than this. Like, okay, if you don't want to put the TV up yourself because you're afraid that you're going to fuck it up and destroy your wall, I get that. I probably would get somebody to do it just because I wouldn't want to fuck my wall up. But like, these are not real problems. Just
I've done it. It's my history. It's my job history.
Feels personal.
So you don't know my job history.
It feels personal. It's you, Raymond.
Yeah. No, but you don't. You just think I'm a fan. You don't know my previous jobs or what I've done in my life.
No,
Oh, by the way, guys, I want to confirm that SERP is going to be on the election night stream. I'm hyped.
Believe you. I'm just saying, like, you wanted to get it done, and you handed off the paperwork, and then didn't know what happened next.
Yeah, I waited.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you're in charge of it or not. That happens unless I, with executive authority, go around to everybody and say, round it up. Raymond said, buy the screen.
Which is why you said there has to be someone that's like CEO.
Yeah, that's why you need
Holy shit, this guy's fucked. Like, I don't know. I've worked in I've worked in the public sector in the past. It's not this fucked. Like, it's not this fucked in government. It's not this fucked in NGOs. It's not this fucked in the private sector. Like, the level of just how fucked the way they do things here is unbelievable. Like, they have a longer approval process to buy to approving things than most government agencies do. Like, do they post it on like a tendering site or something like that? Like, the company I work for has an excessive amount of bureaucracy, and it's not this much work to get to buy something. I mean, I just like what is he even talking about?
Some managerial position, like you were saying, like just exactly like you're saying, Tim. You need someone in that spot.
Need a CEO
who could be who could be your second.
Yep.
Well,
or third, or however. I don't know how the structure here works exactly.
That's the.
How do you not know what the structure? Are you an employee? How do you not know how the business works?
The issue then becomes So usually, what happens for most companies like this is they'll take on strategic investment.
TK states, how many of these problems are marijuana related? Probably a lot. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. And then a guy in a suit shows up, and that's exactly what we're talking about. And then everyone says, "Wow, this company used to be fun." And it's like, welcome to the real world. We could go that route, I suppose, but I don't know.
You have to enjoy what you're doing. Like, if I'm making film or you're making, if you're making...
I enjoy doing this.
You're skating, you enjoy doing this. But yeah, I mean, there has to be a passion behind it, I think. It's not so much that it used to be fun. It's just like, you have to enjoy what you're doing. If they're not enjoying what they're doing, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that would. I mean, he does, it seems. And it's like, it's not...
I love my job.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that are that hungry and they want it. But people do get...
Oh yeah, just a side note as I brought it up, just Thurp and his wife and child are okay. They're doing good. So just if people were wondering about that, thank you for all the prayers people had. It's good. It's good. I'm very happy for him.
Get very complacent, I'll say, when they think
a lot of that.
Well, especially if you're trying to be a nice guy, you're trying to run a company, then you can get walked on, and then you let one thing slide, you might let another thing slide. That's not on you. I do the same thing. And
that's not on you. It is on you. You're the boss.
And then eventually it snowballs, and then I'm like, okay, this is bad.
One of the challenges is...
I'm saying it's not that it's not fun. It's that
what I was saying is it's like, if everyone's doing 90% capacity, that's pretty dang good.
Yes,
but that means 10% has to be for every 10% failure, it has to be picked up by me or Allison, and we can't. No. So we can sell. You know what I mean? I can be like, oh, you guys want to keep IRL around? Okay, well, who can I sell to?
I'm sure people would buy it.
Maybe, but maybe.
But do you want that?
Okay, I think Base Caulfield has probably the best take so far. The SBU actually watched his show. They're like, this is shit. This is what we're spending $5 million a year on this dude. We gotta whack this guy. We gotta take care of this guy because there's not a good return on investment.
I would, you know,
because now you have a boss.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like right now you're.
Sorry, sorry if I keep pausing, but this is fucking boring. So this is something I've noticed in a lot of companies, is because of the culture of accountability and everybody needs to be 100% accountable for everything. It creates an environment where no one's willing to make decisions or take risks. So no one's willing to make a decision. No one's willing to take any kind of risk. So what they do is they just foist the decisions off on other people, and they just keeps going around and around in circles and stuff like that. So it's you have to let your employees make mistakes. You have to let your managers make decisions, and sometimes those decisions are not going to work out. But there's a difference between someone who makes good decisions and sometimes the decisions don't work, and someone who just makes bad decisions all the time. But there's always going to be some problems that happen. And micromanaging everything and not allowing anybody to have initiative is way worse than the initiative sometimes backfiring. Like, I don't even know.
Yes, with a but.
Yeah.
High profile people and talent are known for their problematic behaviors for that reason.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, at a certain level, there's a person who's your boss, but they know that there's a difference between an employee who says, we're going to fire you, and a talent who says, we need you to stop sticking gun under the table during the show.
Right.
And then how do we manage the talent? And so it's really a cooperative effort at the highest levels.
Of course. Yeah.
So if I sold the show to somebody, it's
a cooperative effort at the highest levels. Dude, you run a podcast.
Hey, I want you guys to run this, and we'll make this the best.
Do you think that Tim has like board meetings by himself? Like, I can picture him like he built a board meeting at the compound, and he has like a whole bunch of different wigs and clothes, and he'll like, he will like say, I don't like what the CEO's doing, and then he'll go over and put on his beanie and go, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he'll go over and put on like a blonde wig or something and be like, I just want to look pretty. And he just kind of talks to himself, and he like, do you think he gives himself like a performance review in like the mirror?
Show and the biggest show ever, and we'll keep it going. That would be absolutely fantastic. And we're gonna compromise with each other on that regard. And that's it's a mutual respect for the person who runs a business and the person who runs a big successful show and makes it possible.
Right.
You know, as for like, you know, some employee shows up and takes a dump on the floor, they say, get out, you're fired.
Right.
One of the challenges, I hear a lot of like,
but Tim, you basically admitted that you let your employees steal shit and didn't fire them.
You got to get managers to go in there and start telling people like, do it or else. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to work at a company, or maybe it's just not possible to have a company where people are motivated by fear and don't want to be there. I don't want that.
That's the worst kind of leadership. You don't.
But
want,
I think that's all companies.
No. You don't have to do. Well, I guess it's always fear of getting fired. But
I mean, Hitler.
You have a good leader. Leads from the front.
People love that guy.
I mean,
that was
really,
scary.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like the people who the Nazis terrifyingly worshipped a guy who was out of his mind.
Good thing we're not.
What do the Nazis have to do with anything?
Germany and Nazi people.
So you're saying that I should cultify?
Yeah,
and
I'm saying you could learn a little from Hitler. You don't have to take all of it. Like
only not the bad stuff.
Real like this guy's trying to do like some real comedy, and Tim's just not having it.
Just the business acumen.
Oh, sure.
And maybe the meth if you're working 16-hour days.
Yeah, he was tweaking out, wasn't he?
I heard about that.
Oh, they were on everything because everything was just legal in Germany. You just go to the store.
Well,
and be
I think it was like they had it was recently discovered.
Yes.
And so they're like, look at this
like
thing that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
They're doing crazy drugs.
Yeah, acid and all that
It's
stuff.
the first time anyone's ever done it, and they're just okay. That's
they're like,
there's like a video of him tweaking, and he's like shaking back and forth or something.
Like this, you know what I should do? I should kill a bunch. You know, so
is that one guy like? Does he make a Wish Foundation? Is he? I don't know.
Well, when you're on drugs and your brain is fried, you know.
Yeah, you really don't know where to go, and then you're like, they're all listening to me now. I used to be a
I'm
painter.
somebody, Mom.
Look at all this confidence.
It's like the mystery that Scooby-Doo couldn't solve. Like, Review Tech USA can't figure out why his life is shit. It's because he's a drug addict. I don't know. Is Tim Pool a drug addict? He seems like he is.
He used to be a painter. I know of companies that were, well, I'll just say it. I mean, Vice was called a cult.
Yeah.
the people there really didn't know what was going on outside. It was kind of wild. So I'll tell you a story. They so I left, and a buddy
Were
of
you
mine.
under Gavin?
No.
I was gone by that point.
Yeah, he was
right?
gone. Shane Sarusha.
Once again, I know this is like the most basic bitch common sense talking point, but there are people who can handle drinking. There are people who can handle smoking a little bit of weed. People who can handle a little bit of gambling. If you're someone who cannot do things in moderation, it's better to just stay away from it. And I don't know if Tim's a drug addict, if he's a gambling addict or something, but he should just stay away from it.
And Eddie were in charge when I was there. And nice guys, you know. Shane's a real nice guy, but I guess things didn't go very well for how he was running the show. But actually, I shouldn't speak. I mean, he's got a new podcast. He's probably still rich, so good for him. But what was I going to say? I totally forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, the cult, right? Yeah,
the cult.
No, the cult. So when I left, a buddy of mine was like, he's like, I read the news every day. And so my buddy's like, I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? How are things over there? And I got him the job, actually. And he's like, it's really great. I'm super excited. I'm going to be the lead for the news show on our new cable channel. Because then I'm like, oh yeah, I heard that you guys got a cable channel. It's really cool. I was like, so are you going to move to Toronto? And he goes, what? And I said, you're going to be the news producer on the cable TV news show? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, are you going to move to Toronto? And he goes, no, why would I move to Toronto? And I was like, because it's a Canadian cable channel.
Right.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, bro, it was a Rogers Telecom deal. This was before Viceland. I was like, they got a cable channel deal in Canada. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm totally lost, bro. Did you not know that? And he's like, they just said we got a cable channel. And I was like, so what happened? And the story that I was told is that Shane has a State of the Union meeting and he orders pizzas for everybody. And there's like this big room, everyone's hanging out. And it's fun because I had been at one. And he grabs the mic and he says, we did it. We got our cable channel. And they all cheer. And he didn't say.
He didn't say Canada?
He didn't say Canadian cable channel. And then.
I'm sorry. It's just
that is funny.
It's hilarious.
Masterfully done. How about that? Yeah. And so here's my buddy thinking that he's going to be on cable TV in the United States. And it's like, bro, you got 30 million households up in Canada.
Yeah.
Good. Like, I wasn't ragging on him. You know, I was just like, oh, congratulations. That sounds really cool. Like, are you going to move to Toronto? And then he was just like, so.
But just you should be more specific. If it's just Toronto,
and that's the whole "I'm buying pizza for you" and everyone.
There was an article.
All you
written,
can afford is pizza. It's a Canadian TV deal. That's one.
There was an article written about Vice where.
Me in bed till 5 anyway.
Well, there you go. I guess.
See?
Okay, so we're gonna skip ahead. So we're gonna find out why Tim's show is failing. We're gonna have the Sigma male. I forget his name. But we're going to have the Sigma male come in, and he's just going to shit all over it. And people are saying that he's the reason that he's I don't know. Some people say he's the reason he's failing. I don't know. This guy's hilarious. I would watch a podcast with just him.
Work it out in your brain and all that good stuff.
Commander Crunk says, Tim, I really don't have the money to chat, but I'm going to. Please don't give up. You are one of the few people I trust in news. The world needs you. Well, so the idea is I would do the morning show. If I.
Here we go.
What is this? Oh. And we haven't promoted anything, so nobody knows we're there. But I'm like,
it makes sense.
If I did one show and got 150K, and we're like, what is this?
Oh, Ian's here. Welcome, Ian.
Hey, what's up, dude?
He must have just turned in and heard what was going on,
man. Were you sleeping the whole time?
Okay.
Dave.
Michael Landau. You need a microphone, Ian.
My brother.
No, this guy is just a Sigma male. He comes in with his water in his mason jar, disheveled, tie-dye sweatshirt, pajama bottoms, and he just goes, what are you going to do, Tim? What are you going to do? I'm just going to come in here, and I'm in control. This is my show now.
Miss Michael, though, so that was
Dave Landau.
Yeah.
Were you asleep?
I was. I thought Hannah Claire and Seamus were going to be here, so I was like, well, I guess it's a full house. I'll take the night off.
Half-ass it.
Dude, I was having a dream that I was playing music with Nick Fuentes, man.
What's
song was
going
like,
on?
hey, do you know who I am? I just woke up, but
Ian's worried he's going to miss the last one.
I was dreaming of this song with.
How can I forget Ian's name? I've never watched his show. I've never watched Tim Pool before. But this is way more entertaining. Like, People say this guy's the reason the company's failing. I would watch an Ian show. Is there an Ian show?
Fuentes, and he was great.
Yeah.
And then I logged on and I was like, I'm quitting the show. And I'm like, no.
Look at the energy of this pot. Like, why is the pothead the only one here with any energy?
Oh, we got to just change the format. We got to play music.
For some reason, I
now.
just confused Nick Fuentes with Nicholas Shea.
Fucking jam, dude. How you guys doing?
Well, so we're doing
Great to
super
see you.
chats,
Good to see
and
you,
my
man.
point is, if I do one show, and it consolidates viewership, gets more reach, and allows me to focus better, then maybe that's a better way to go about doing
I've been
it.
thinking we got such a good opportunity with just 8 p.m. and us. We could do life change. Like I'm going to go to North Carolina and help with cleanup. A friend of mine's doing cleanup stuff, like good humanitarian stuff.
There's a lot of bodies, yeah.
Playing music. We could be doing all sorts. Like we got 8 p.m.
You're such a bright light, Ian. God,
Well, it was like
50,000
it kind of
people.
gave me Kramer vibes.
Yeah,
It is Kramer vibes.
bang bang.
Yeah.
but he's bringing light to it.
Needs
So
Danny
we're out.
Masterson.
So you're thinking that it's just the 8 p.m.
I can't help
dark
it.
all
It's
night.
all I do. I don't know if you've met me.
Are you? I'm sorry that
Yeah,
I'm
I know, you're
obsessed
good,
with
man.
what's going on.
No, we love
So
it.
wait,
We love
you-
that you came up.
You're saying the 8
do.
p.m. 8 to 10 politics format is like burning out? Is that what you
Like he just doesn't care. Like he's just mogging Tim. Like Tim is sitting here like being a bitch, and then Ian just comes in and just shits on the table. It just says, "What are you gonna do about it?" It's funny that the Tim spent the last like hour complaining about his employees and how they're the problem, and he pays this dude.
you guys are feeling? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
he's feeling it
The
more.
issue is
It's a whole thing.
like the studio broke.
What happened?
The studio broke. I don't know. It's been a cascade failure on the studio, and it's like it's not just about that. It's that for any project, unless I am in charge of it to the T, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, micromanagement. It's very centralized. So
Well,
you
so
can
we
either like
can't- we
let go
can't-
and have all these different managers try and run all the different.
Doesn't work.
we don't have all
departments
these
and-
managers though.
We've attempted
one.
management. The same thing
We have attempted management. What does that mean? We've attempted to manage.
happens. It stops working.
Some people will hire, like Elon hired a CEO to run Twitter, and he's just like, look, if you mess it up, you're out. But in the meantime, I'm the owner. I make all the final decisions, but you're going to run everything. I don't have time for this.
And Ian comes in and does reality check. He makes the first sensible point. This like coke marijuana guy actually solves the whole problem in approximately 30 seconds.
management. The same thing happens. It stops working.
Some people will hire, like Elon hired a CEO to run Twitter, and he's just like, look, if you mess it up, you're out. But in the meantime, I'm the owner. I make all the final decisions, but you're going to run everything. I don't have time for this. And then he'll come in and just do whatever he wants whenever he
Oh,
wants.
hey,
but
look
he
at
lets
this.
the owner-
Matt, I just heard this. Matt Christensen and Blonde, they quit last night.
What's that?
He had a live stream that he would do. Matt Christensen's a YouTuber. and-
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Yeah.
But
So
they
I guess
moved
he
the
should-
show?
I mean, look, I'm saying I can just do my morning show and not have to worry about anything else, and then I can get the job done.
Yeah.
Trying to do 2 shows in one day is a diminishing return with burning the candle at both ends.
God, yeah, dude. We could do like, dude, we could play games at 8. We could do like 8
No,
to fucking video.
if you want to do it for free,
We could play music. Well, the thing is, there's 50,000 people that are going to come watch no matter what.
60 right now.
Yeah. Like, if you do
That's
something
not true, dude.
from 8, I mean,
We're not gonna
not
turn
anything. I'm not taking a crap or something like that, but I'm talking
Bro,
about
if we
quality
when,
content.
when we did music.
How much is he just make? Ian's making Tim his bitch. Like Tim is just like he is completely humiliated. Ian's just coming in with the energy, and that is the face of a man who's been mocked.
Music on Fridays, and if we do, the viewership will drop from 60 to 30.
Yeah, they like hearing the news. People like
Well, they're
hearing
here for
the
a
news.
news show.
Nobody sticks around for Gem Night?
Like half of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then some people will be
Well, it's
like,
fun,
I'm not
though,
here for
and
this
it's
and
still
all.
a big crowd.
Yeah, and we could change
But
the
you're right.
format.
They are here for the news. They are here for everyone's
You could write
take,
songs
the
about the
circle
news.
Group, you know.
And like,
talking.
because what would happen is if we change the format, you lose half the crowd, but then you'd slowly start to build a new crowd.
And they're only here for Tim. Like me, you guys aren't. You know, we don't sell tickets.
I know. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like your show, your fans and stuff.
Wait, what was that?
Well, and I think,
What?
but if you're doing
just
the
happened?
morning thing,
It's
switch profiles. It should be okay.
oh, good. I hope it dropped
They
out.
can't even like.
the
Makes it
studio.
more
There's no.
comfortable.
There we go. The studio just broke. Just right.
No, well, that's because we've been here all day resetting the whole thing to run in the old studio. But
Did you guys show
See, I want to
Richie's
stress.
throne?
I want to stress this too because people are like, Tim, don't quit. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm saying IRL. I have a morning show that I can do entirely on my own without any support at all.
Yeah.
And it is extremely difficult to do all of this at one time.
Question for you then: what do you want to do in real life?
Well, I would do this if it were possible. So I'm going to do the morning
I'd do this if it were possible.
show, which I think the strategy is like shave everything down to the core, morning show, produce the content, and then from there regrow.
It would be fun.
A
You could do
reboot.
something fun.
A reboot of sorts, do you think?
Yeah, IRL.
He's having to like. Why does he have to reboot? Couldn't he just fire like the useless staff, hire some competent people, and get them to do it? Like, I don't. Why do we have to burn the business down?
Times. So we are we range from like we're consistently the top 10 live streams in the world.
Yeah.
In terms of viewership.
X.
In terms of super chats, we've consistently been the #1 human being hosted show because the VTubers make way more than us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you,
The #1 real human being hosted show. I'm also gonna have to press X to get out on that one.
if you're doing a live show, but you have an
Those are like
avatar
the
of a
robot
hot
ladies or something?
anime woman.
Yeah,
Okay.
You will make
Yeah,
more.
that's the deal.
But so
People are
that's
trash.
great. But it's also just I don't know. It's been 4 years, and
I wanna-
we
I wanna
we reached the point where I think. So here are the challenges. Clearly, we got to fire people. The problem is everyone's essential to a certain degree, and so that means the show's not going to function if we start to get rid of people.
Everybody, all 30 people are essential to run a podcast? What?
So then it's just like, do we put the show on a hiatus and start reassessing how we need to find and hire people? And then what do? We wait 3 months of going through the hiring process and burning money. And then
You have to put the show on hiatus because you can't run a podcast with fewer than 30. I don't know. Nothing about this makes any sense. He could just be this retarded, but I just like, I don't know. It's just,
so we can be like,
it's not adding
who do we
up.
find who's going to be able to run this properly? And no. Or I just be like, look, I need to make sure that my show runs in the morning so I can live and feed my family and pay my bills. Like waking up.
Once again, he's acting like he has no control over any of this. He's like, you need to let me run my show. It's like, well, it's your fucking show.
Up and not having a show for my morning show, I'm like, okay, well, who's paying the bills? If it's not going to get done, and I don't have the people who's gonna run even that, it's annoying when we try and do Cast Castle, it fails. Cast Castle 2.0 comedy, it fails. Boonies, it fails. And I'm like, but that's ancillary investment, and that's my failure. I can't make it work. I get it. But when those projects result in me being unable to do the core show, which pays the bills, then it's just like we're gonna stop.
Yeah.
Once again, he's acting like this is a mystery. Like, I don't know, guys. I'm doing all this stuff that's not profitable, that's not making money, that's actively harming my business. Like, just don't do it then. Like, you guys get what I mean, though, right? Like, he's acting like he has no control over this, that he's like working at a minimum wage job at McDonald's, and that's the level of control he has over it. It's his company.
Yeah, you got subscriptions. Subscription models are where it's at because then it frees you up to do.
Who makes the product for the subscribers?
That's up to you. Basically, you get to make whatever you want.
Sure. So
whenever you want.
So IRL only exists because we have members. If every single member quit, IRL ceases to exist. Period.
Yeah, memberships is legit. Dude, the Discord is so popping. I just did a game jam with a bunch of people from the Timcast Discord and others.
Yeah, it's probably a good time.
We all these developers over 2 weeks developed video games, and then they did this contest. There were like 16 entries, and then they voted. They got down to 5 finalists, and then they had me come in with another guest judge, and we played the games live. And then they're like, dude, we love everything you're doing. And they didn't say we worship Timcast, but they're like, dude, they're people that are like subscribing to the company. The games were awesome, by the way. Biggest Dickus Architectus was my favorite. It was one of the winners. It was a really cool game of like.
It's literally dick on the table. It's like LBJ as a way of like showing how much of an alpha he was. Would just whip out his dick in front of people and be like, look, you're going to have to look at it because I'm LBJ. And that's the kind of energy that Ian is channeling.
Like physics and stuff. So that was like an untapped market. I'm like, yo, if we hosted like a video game judgment thing where developers were just constantly creating games, passing them in, and then there was like a $1,500 prize that went to the winner. And
you might get like 2,000 people watching, maybe 10. I don't know if that's a big market. To my world.
You create the market. This is the point. It's like you set the
for
trend.
Video games, that's not bad.
What's that?
I think for video games, that's not bad.
Are you going off
No, it
topic?
was fantastic.
Yeah.
And like it's like
How is it that Ian has better business sense than Tim? Like he at least has some ideas.
another way to garner fans and give back to the community that's subscribing, and also to make money and to pay people that are up and coming developers. Like that was just like 2 hours. For me, it was 2 hours of work.
Tim, would you do IRL instead of the morning show? Like, do you have a preference of
IRL can't sustain itself.
Can't sustain itself, even though
IRL requires the members to exist.
IRL can't sustain itself. What?
As a show because we need drivers, we need guest booking.
Okay.
You need drivers, you need guest booking,
hotel,
Yeah,
travel
a lot of
accommodations.
Okay, I see.
We could also do no gas. We don't need gas.
Yeah, they're worthless.
I know.
It's like
guy.
it's great having them,
unbelievable.
He's been saying naughty things.
and
the
we
whole time.
can.
He has
Barely
been.
not.
We can, but that show me and you and Phil did was
hilarious.
so
Thank you.
awesome. Like we could just hang out. We don't need to fly people in every day. We could do like guests
Back
once
in
a
the
week
day,
or
the old
twice a
one,
week.
old school.
Back
You
when
do
it was
like once
him,
a
you
week
and
or
Adam, it
something?
was just as entertaining.
How is Ian having better? Like this stoner who's also on coke is somehow higher energy and has better business sense than mundane Matt does.
And that's actually what I was saying is one of the core ideas is to just get rid of everything but the skeleton crew.
Yeah, and then just have guests whenever.
We can tell the guests if you want to come on the show, you drive yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll do it.
no more covering your planes, Dave.
This was the first time you did.
What do you mean?
I always would book myself.
Oh, really?
I never wanted to burden anybody with.
No, you're such a nice man.
Yeah,
We
but
even get some people first class.
They jumped on it, and can you?
Yeah, let's do skeleton crew.
Well, we'll think about it.
But that's when you started blowing up too, Tim. Like OG fans,
middle seat.
you and Adam, and then
I mean, it might be worth it. Like, you don't have to arrange it personally. If you want to give the person a stipend to come, I mean, I think that would be a good idea. But
young gentleman came around.
We have so many hosts
So
now.
yeah, it was you guys are
That's what I'm saying, we gotta-
40K likes a night. Remember ladies
Yeah,
and
but that
gentlemen,
was-
I'm gonna wear my MAGA beanie if you give me 40K likes tonight.
Oh,
That's
But
how-
that was
remember those times?
that was also during COVID.
True.
And so
Okay,
viewership
true.
on everything for people
Yeah.
locked in their homes was massive.
but also
Would
that
kill you for wearing
they
masks.
called it lightning in a bottle. You and Adam, your old school friendship, like kindling into this business. Really, it was like just crazy energy.
You know,
and
look, the show was was supposed to be on the street. It was supposed
Yeah.
to be out of a vehicle where I would
Yeah.
interview regular.
doesn't this kind of remind you of the Virgin Chad meme? Like, he's just here and he's crying and he's being a pussy and he's coping and he's sad. And he just comes in.
people and just hang out and, talk, and do a podcast of talking with regular folks.
Yeah,
It changed up a lot.
it can. They.
Yeah, it's too burdensome.
We got so many hosts. We got Phil, Libby, Seamus when he feels like it, Hannah Claire, Raymond,
I'm not a
me,
host.
Serge is hilarious.
hang
I'm
out.
so glad you're talking again.
I like that
Serge.
Ian's naming names.
Dude, I'm dropping.
It's all of them. It's all their fault.
I'm going back to the Ross dress for less, apparently, my friends.
And like, God, we could have other people come in too. There's so many people that
Oh, you're
want to.
saying positive things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, like
He's not naming
people
names.
that work
Okay.
at Timcast, even like Wesley's hilarious. Carter Banks is awesome. I mean, Charles is hilarious. I would love to sit down with Charles for a couple hours and just shoot the shit, talk about whatever, talk about economics, he's just a funny guy. in general.
Rugby, hockey, but yeah.
Yeah, like he's just good to be in a room with.
I don't know.
So you're in a reassessment time frame then, because we wrote. I'm so happy you wrote May, like I said before. But so it's like a.
I wasn't gonna do the show at all, but Dave was here, and I was like,
Yeah,
it's kind of a dick
appreciates
move
it, and we
to
appreciate
be like,
it
we're not gonna
too.
do anything.
Yeah.
And now everyone, at least, because you've always been open and honest with your audience. So,
What have you been up
it's
to?
good that you're doing this opening honest with your audience right now.
Did you already talk about what you've been working on lately?
No.
What have you been doing?
Nothing.
You know Wald, yeah?
No,
He retired. He worked on a farm.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds
pretty
refreshing.
good. Well, I don't say I work, but I'm definitely doing labor on a farm. What I do is Normal World. Yeah, that's the sketch show, and we're finally putting out more sketches because I know what it's like to have to deal with certain people as well, egos and whatnot. But it's good that we're now building it back up, and I really do like the show. But I really want to do like all sketch. You were fantastic. I was telling the driver today.
You were on a show?
We were on the first episode
he was
together.
In the very
it was called
first.
Drugtopia.
Robert Bush, but he can't leave.
Well, maybe now he can.
Love you to do more. I would love Tim to do a sketch, but he can't leave.
What is with, like, why did they cut to this of Tim's just on his phone playing Candy Crush?
Well, maybe now he can.
I know, and
actually-
if you're not around, I would love to have him in a sketch.
That'd be so funny,
there's
dude.
nothing more I enjoy than doing that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, dude, Drugtopia was fantastic because you just, it was just perfect how well you played that.
Would we just fly down to Texas for a couple
Yeah.
days and shoot it? And
Yeah,
then-
absolutely.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's the most fun. Like, honestly, I think when it's coming into like comedy, sketch, movies, all that stuff, I think there's a way to really do this right, and it's not necessarily being
We
done.
could get rid of guests.
Yeah.
Guests can
Yeah.
come on if they choose to come on, but
Yeah.
we're not going to handle booking and anything else.
Well, if you're coming on because you're basically giving them a lot of free promo.
Yes. And sometimes people come on and don't say like 2 words.
Dude, that's the worst.
It's so brutal.
Yeah, so
terrible.
like,
And they get mad at us.
do they? They get mad
Yeah, I'm
afterwards?
like, I don't know if they know what the show was.
Yeah. And
Well,
then-
we'll have like a PR company be like, we want to get this person on your show, and then
Yeah.
think we're going to interview them about their book, and then we don't.
But yeah, IRL's a topical news show, daily news show.
Well, do they think that you read the book? I mean, that's a lot.
No, it's funny though because like,
Nobody
dude, I'm
reads
not.
the book.
I won't lie to people. Like we've had people on the show, and they're like, hand me the book, and they're like, will you read it? I go, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm doing 2 shows every day and running a company. There's no way I can read this book.
Look, Michael
Even the
Malice.
Audible
Is,
book ain't got
Michael
time for it.
Malice is a good friend.
Well, I mean, that's probably why you're so boring, is you never read books or improve yourself or make, I don't know, like, I don't know.
Friend of mine, but I don't understand.
I got the audio book and I still haven't listened to
Dude,
it.
I get halfway in and I'm like, yeah, I'll believe you.
The white pill.
It's spot on.
Mike knows what he's talking about.
It's the white pill. Have you?
It's brilliant. Yeah, up the first few chapters I got.
Well,
And then I don't pretend I'm smarter than I am.
so let me tell you guys something. Maybe,
Yes, sir.
we could do the CEO route, right? We could do the strategic investment. You know what that means?
No.
It means
us.
that we'll be doing the show, and we're going to let people know about the hardships we face, especially the hardships dealing with a bad night's sleep, which is why I use my pillow.
I knew that. The hardships they face.
I hear they're good.
That was fantastic.
My pillow promo code Tim is an actual thing. You can use it.
Really?
So we do pre-rolls. We don't do end rolls or mid rolls. But I guarantee you, anybody who comes in and says I'm going to clean this up is going to be like, we need.
Well, the I don't know, mundane Maddie's not getting a lot of sleep now. He's doing Uber Eats.
We don't do end rolls or mid rolls. But I guarantee you, anybody who comes in and says I'm going to clean this up is going to be like, we need four ad reads per show.
If they're good things, I don't mind talking about them. I really
No, they're
actually
not going to want a
to.
conversation
Like
about it. They're going to say
epic
break
provisions.
at 9:30. Read the line. Read the minute.
see that.
Carry on.
Can you do like 15 seconds?
Okay, so he's like, I don't want to do 4 ad rolls in a 2-hour show. That's what, like maybe 5 minutes? And Ian's on board. He's like, yeah, okay, we'll just get some products that you like. Whoa. Ian is dropping the truth bombs here. It's like if I was going to get like sponsors, who would I want to do? Is like, I do Audible in a second. I love Audible. I don't know. There's people I do ads for. So
Like real quick?
You mean
You
like
know,
if you said something like I'll be
45
in
seconds
Tom's
maybe.
River, New
Okay.
Jersey on Friday?
Theo Vaughn does really cool ads where he's like, yo, homie, you got to get a taste of this shit. Like he says it how he would say
Is it
it.
in the middle of the show or is it like?
It like cuts to it in the middle of the show.
Yeah,
does his own-
those are host read placements. So we have some of those sometimes. I'm saying for a live show.
Yeah.
you're such a fucking bitch. Fuck. Sorry if I'm freaking out. He's just such a fucking bitch. I can't even take it. Like Ian is this fucking retarded, like meth head who's on weed, and he's coming up with ideas, And this dude is just, look at him. Fuck.
If you said something like,
45 seconds
Tom's
maybe.
River, New
Okay.
Jersey on Friday.
Theo Vaughn does really cool ads where he's like, yo, homie, you got to get a taste of this shit. Like, he says it how he would say
Is
it.
it in the middle of the show, or is it like
It like cuts to it in the middle of the show.
Yeah, those are host read placements. So we have some of those sometimes. I'm saying for a live show, host read placements are going to for YouTube, hands down. Like anybody who comes in and says we want to run this, they're gonna be like, oh, here's your problem. You're not doing any ad reads.
Like the Ben Shapiro, how he gets it, how he mixes it in the pretty young lady Cooper.
Brett Cooper.
Brett Cooper, yeah, she mixes her.
They all do.
ads
That's their
very
strategy.
well.
I would do ad reads.
I kind of like the commercial idea too. I'm just throwing it out there. I always like making commercials.
It just sounds like
Those
doing a
are
lot
always
more
fun.
work. You know?
Oh, like it cuts to a sketch.
Doing a lot more work. Ad reads are a lot more work. Reading a fucking card is a lot more like so doing ad reads and working 8 hours a day is more effort than doing 16-hour days with no ad reads. I don't know, mundane Matt.
Sketch or something.
That's
of a
what we
commercial
used to do. Crowder, yeah.
Of
That
us
was
like
fun.
with a real product we could be selling.
Yeah, but you just actually
Like-
just a
he's like,
sketch.
oh,
of the
like Tim's like,
products in it.
I'm hungry. And I'm like, have one of these. And I'll hand him like the
Yeah, you got
epic
like,
provision.
yeah, whatever bar it is, and you're like, you need a protein bar.
So you're doing a lot of work and you're not getting out of it what you want.
Like Ian has some real ideas there.
Is this, does that sound?
Well, I mean,
right?
look, the studio broke.
Right.
And so I'm just, there's a lot of other things too, but I'm not going to throw anybody specifically under the bus.
Sure,
That's-
sure.
I'm not going to bring up other things, but it's just like I said, 90% of the job getting done means 10% across every
Okay.
person that I have to handle.
Jim and Ralph in the morning Kumite, and they all make fun of me. Do you think that Tim Pool, do you think he flags anyone who makes fun of him?
And I can't do it all.
Gotcha.
And so, people are mentioning, we got a super chat, startup syndrome, you need a CEO. I'm like, of course, right. And so that's the question. It's like,
It's a 4-year startup, though.
that's normal. 3 to 5 years of startup.
Yeah.
Most companies fail.
4-year startup. 4 years start for a podcast.
5 years.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
So
But
now
but
you're
not
bringing a
failing,
CEO
is what
and
I'm saying.
well, it's like, why just keep spending money and spinning wheels? Like I could pull it all back and keep making money and not have to stress about any of it.
It's true.
Does
Yeah,
any of
if I were you, I would have just already done just the Timcast thing. But that's.
I mean, I'm saying I could buy a
But he likes-
Class
he-
A.
He says he likes the IRL aspect of it.
Yeah, and that's.
I can get a Class A right now. You know what a Class A trailer camper is? Tour bus.
Oh, okay.
Pop
Big
out
guy.
tour bus,
Big
basically.
guy.
Living room. I can park it anywhere in the country. See, I
Every
upgraded
Walmart.
from the van, you know what I'm saying?
Stream live
And
from the
then-
tour bus.
No, I record my morning segments from the bus wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I'm done. I could reasonably record till 4 to get the best segments up. I could do 10 segments per day if I'm working till 4 p.m.
That'd be nuts.
Can you stream
Why does he have to get a camper?
on a bus?
Starlink, yeah.
And you could be done the rest of the night. You just do 10.
And then at 4 o'clock, I go to Allison and say, "You want to go get dinner?" And I go hang out with my family.
It is
like
pretty
an
fresh,
awesome
dude.
tour bus you could get, or like one for
No,
for
like
poison.
they're based. AF.
you know,
Yeah.
Timcast IRL does
Oh, so
very
you could
well.
just-
Gonna get a base tour bus.
Just get one.
100 grand.
Oh wow.
How much?
Yeah.
100?
100 grand.
That's the cost of a Kia now.
Almost
100
100 grand.
Yeah, so there are some
cars
used
suck
Class A
now.
trailers that are like 2022 or whatever that I saw. I think for like $100,000.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What does the Class A trailer have to do with anything? Like, how is this solving the problem?
Yeah. And I could record my morning show anywhere I want.
Dude, mobile's the shit. I just got
Yeah.
a bunch of mobile equipment today.
I hate
Literally,
promoting it.
spent
Yeah,
like
you could
8
do 10
hours.
minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and do what you did before, 6, 7, 6:30. I don't want to say that out loud because I
Yeah,
love
but it's
IRL,
true.
but
I mean, that's
it's
what me
100% true. You could
Yeah.
totally get her done.
That's what I
And
mean.
you
Like Jarbo, you paid all this money to get an expensive studio. Why don't you just record your morning show in the expensive studio? Why do you need to buy $100,000 camper to record in like it's Breaking Bad?
be happier that way. So yeah.
I've been studying
If you think, I mean, I don't know your happiness level. We're not
mobile
best friends
tech.
or anything.
Are you
so
guys
I don't
following
know.
Thunderbolt technology? It's USB.
Okay, it's Ian's about to just Oh, this is amazing.
Fitness level. We're not
Mobile
best friends
tech.
or anything.
Are
So
you guys
I don't
following
know.
Thunderbolt technology? It's USB, huge breakthrough advancements. It's USB's eclipsing HDMI. Like it's not even USB. It looks like a USB cord. It's called Thunderbolt, and it's going up to Thunderbolt version 5, where you can get one USB plug, can power your device with 100 watts, and it can send 80 gigabits a second, which is like, what would that be? 16 gigabytes per second of transfer data speed. Like, phenomenal. So basically, you're going to end up having one cord that can power your entire setup.
And it's called Thunderbolt?
Yeah, Thunderbolt technology. My new laptop has Thunderbolt 4, 40 gigabits per second. I'm studying the difference in gigabits
Wait, is
and
it
gigabytes.
yours? Is it like your product?
No, it's just it's a new breakthrough. I think Intel's been working on these advancements. They kind of started using gallium nitride in superconductors, so it's a lot cooler and so they can make things a lot smaller. Well,
Ian's back, everyone.
Yeah, dude, I've been studying electricity for like a week and like power, and I was studying volts this morning. Alessandro Volta, how he built his first battery. You guys ever study that thing?
Nope.
He's called the Volta. I think it was a Volta pile, where he just put zinc and copper on top of itself over and over and over again.
Okay, how much more interesting is Ian than Tim? Like this is keynote.
Like these pieces of cardboard in between them with salt water, and then they just made an electrical charge. And they were like, what the fuck did we do with this? So they just started destroying stuff. They were like, let's destroy water. So they discovered electrolysis. They were like, let's destroy salt. They discovered sodium.
Yeah.
And then they've had OM had to come in and figure out how to resist the electricity to actually utilize it in daily products.
And damn, you research.
Yeah, I've been going nuts.
We need Ian to do a science show. We need the magic school bus, but instead it's like the magic I don't know what love bug, or the magic Volkswagen, starring like Ian, and he just teaches kids about science.
I'm looking at like mobile equipment lately. I'm
Okay.
like, because my friend's down in North Carolina, like I was saying, she's doing this cleanup stuff.
Yeah, our friend Dr. Steve is right now because his hospital was flown up to the ceiling.
To
the roof.
Zena Radner, phenomenal humanitarian. She does all sorts of crazy work. And I was like, I got to go down there and interview her.
The magic stone bus, yeah.
So I've been looking at like difference of wattage and voltage and amperage, because I've been trying to get different devices and make sure everything's compatible.
Oh, like how you're going to power it and everything?
Yeah. And there's new breakthroughs in USB, and this Thunderbolt tech is really, really promising for mobile work.
Thunderbolt tech is nice. Any
we should. I think we'll do a little members only for all of our members who want to have a more direct conversation with some call-ins and want to ask some questions.
Love that.
You know,
hanging with the members, dude. That's what really fun too. Because I wanted to have you come in and guest judge the video game competition with me, but I figured you're too busy. But this is like opportunity to do that kind of stuff.
There you go.
I'm happy you're doing that.
Like, and if we did it 8 to 10 one night, we're just like, let's use this platform to host these games for these new and up and coming, because some of these guys are like geniuses. And
this is like the biggest mogging I think I've ever seen. It's up here. This is like Xi Jinping mogging Tony Blinken levels of mogging.
Weeks what they can spin together.
Do you understand the level of what's going on tonight, by chance?
Man, I'm always on the level, Raymond, but tell me, talk to me about
Just
it.
what...
Let's use this platform to host these games for these new and up and coming, because some of these guys are like geniuses. In 2 weeks what they can spin together.
Do you
I'm gonna be honest, like, sorry for interrupting when that I just went back, but honestly, them hosting like random people in the Discord making games sounds actually kind of interesting. I might actually watch that. I'd watch that before I'd watch the Timcast.
Because some of these guys are like geniuses. In 2 weeks what they can spin together.
Do you understand the level of what's going on tonight, by chance?
Man, I'm always on the level, Raymond, but tell me, talk to me about it.
Just what the show's about. The title is I May Be the Last Show, and you're talking about Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I always... Yeah, well, I'm talking about mobile tech, but yeah, you could say...
Just curious. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything.
I guess I don't want to pile on. I'd rather like elevate.
Your mood is very fantastic.
You know, like there are.
I'd rather do a show. I'd rather do an entertaining show.
A lot of super chats. I'll read one of them because a lot of them say the similar thing. What does this says? The ham is bad. You need to hire a COO and an IT professional, people who have no interest in making videos a day, want the system to produce the videos work. Like the solution, I don't think the solution is try hiring more people again. Remember how you had problems, so you hired people, and then didn't work, so you fired them, and then you hired more people, and you fired them, and you hired more people? Like, at a certain point, I'm kind of just like, I don't think that's the issue. I think, I just think...
Cutting back on guests. Huge expenditure.
If guests work for you, though.
I think it's, I think people...
So we can't ever hire someone again because we hired retarded people. You could just hire people who aren't retarded.
I think people
No,
are...
I mean, like, we have guests. We've just had to, we've gone up and back and forth with that as well.
I think people are entitled, lazy.
Yes. Yep.
You know?
Very true.
Yeah. So you can only do so much, I guess. I think the other thing too is
it's a book.
The reason why a lot of businesses are as corporate as they are is because they're
Look at just how depressed and defeated he is. He just doesn't have the big dick energy of Ian. If only like he had Ian's charisma or personality, like this show would be way better.
There's no world where, like, I believe that the actual mentality of the average employee, I say average employee, I'm not speaking about anyone individual, is I got to get mine and I'll burn this down if I have to.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I think like, I was talking to a friend and he said that he was at a job once and every time he'd look over, the guy's just scrolling Facebook and Amazon and not working.
I know too many people. I've met too many people like that in my previous jobs.
That's true, but I don't think they have the ability to take over. Like, I don't think they have that go-getting.
I'm saying quiet quitting is hugely popular. It's like a big trend among Gen Z.
Just leaving?
No. Quiet quitting is when you keep pretending that you're working so you get as much money as possible before they fire you.
Oh, the George Costanza method.
Right.
That's
right. Just come to work.
I think that's
after you quit.
A product of
Gotcha.
salary and hourly wages. Because if you're just getting paid no matter what you do, and you're always going to get paid the same amount, why would you do more? But if you're making more money based on how well the outcome is, now you're going to work hard.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a bunch of pitches like we should do.
Wow, Ian just solved it again. Ian's like, well, why don't you just like only pay people who do what they're supposed to do? And Tim's like, oh, I can't do that.
Right, Mr. Collins, yes? I'm
Yeah, in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so like one method is like the GE method, I think. It's where every quarter you fire the bottom 10%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's actually a great idea. I like it.
Yeah, and so it's basically
That's why I hate
like
unions.
We're gonna say this job has to get done. If it doesn't get done, we're adding that we're writing it down in a file. At the end of the quarter, whoever has the most misses is you're out.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like,
harsh reality of business.
Can you just fire people who suck and aren't doing their job? Like, why do we need this regularized, like, insane? I don't know. It's just, how about just if your employees aren't doing what you tell them to do, you just fire them? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, who wants to work there? I guess, but that's the only way to do it. Otherwise,
you shouldn't work. You should be. If you were the person who's not the bottom 10%, then that's a good thing. Like if you're working hard and people see that, then that's.
If you're working hard, other people are doing nothing, and the company's failing because of it. You're gonna be pissed off.
Right, but then that's why I like the 10%. Gotta go. I like that aspect.
Dude, you're gonna be in the bottom 10%. You might be in the bottom 1%.
That's why I hate unions. They're the worst things ever.
So like you hire a CEO to come in and just be like, that person's got to go.
No. We say, so we have tasks that have to be accomplished. If they're not accomplished, we write down you failed to accomplish task. Then at the end of the quarter, we look at who has the most failures and say, you're out. We're hiring somebody else.
It's the only thing I've ever had the last
I don't think people
20 years
realize
of my
what
life.
they have until it's gone either.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that's a huge thing about working at a place like this. There's not a lot of gratitude until you go out there into the real world and realize that, like, comedy feels like more of a safety net to me than it would working for any Fortune 500 company. At least in these days.
Why is that?
So many overseas people that are doing the manufacturing. Like, I just don't feel that people are looked at as much more than numbers. So if you're looked at by the person who owns the company as somebody who actually cares about the employer, but then you don't reciprocate that, that's kind of shitty.
You know, I've been watching a lot of video of like dudes like tapping trees to get rubber out, or factory workers working with vinyl, just poison, chemicals, brutal, boring ass shit. And I'm like, what a opportunity this is to work on TV and like entertain for a living.
That's what I mean. Like, to get 6 figures at like Zug Island in Detroit, where you just work with poisons all day and you're going to be riddled with tumors and die at 40, but you get 6 figures. You know
Well-
what I mean? Like people do that. I mean, that's all their options.
There are people who mine cobalt and their teeth fall out of their mouths when
Yeah.
they're 20 and they get paid $1 a day.
Or fucking
some are
throw
14 years old,
luggage,
you know,
or
and they make great hookers.
Congo.
corn oil. There's just so many jobs I've had in life that were like, I can't wait for this to be over. And this is a job where I can't wait to wake up in the morning.
Yeah,
True.
like every job I've ever had.
I don't think that's
until
true for this
that-
company.
You don't think so?
I think that there's an element of at this company among our staff who are just like, what do I have to say to make this day end?
I don't think anybody's looking at a clock right now, though.
No,
This
there.
isn't the regular day.
I think that this company has too much of, I don't got to do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then when it falls down and I have to catch it, they're just like, I don't care. And you know what? I think it's, some people are worse than others, but it's that if someone's only doing 90, I'm trying to catch the other 10.
Yeah. So you're doing 150.
I'm doing way more than that.
Yeah.
No, you're like 330 or whatever. But
And then
Yeah.
it's like hey guys, I really need this because I can't do it. And they're like, sure. And then they're just like, what a fucking idiot. You think I'm gonna do that? Like, dude, it's remarkable how it's just like, hey, this thing has to get done, otherwise we can't do the company. And they're like, you got it, mate. And then they just, as soon as you leave, they, I don't know, crack open a bag of chips and just watch TV or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a crappy feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do. I mean, you take it more personal then.
it's,
'Cause you have to. I mean, it's your baby.
You know, I don't know if I take it personally.
I think
how could you
do.
not? I don't understand.
I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah.
Because I think people are people. I don't know.
Yeah, without a taskmaster being like,
Well, I think this is the realization is that there
has
has to be a mid-manager whip cracker.
Yes.
Yes, always. Every
No
every
one-
And it
no-
sucks. But
You
it's
don't get
true.
to, you don't like. Anybody who is passionate and wants to do it, who doesn't need a whip cracker, is not going to work at a company because they can do it on their own.
they can, yeah.
Okay, so then you don't need a CEO. You just need a middle management whip cracker.
Or a
Yeah,
CEO
I don't
that
know that that's
also
gonna
is.
I mean,
you
I'm
get a
just,
CEO that's
I'm
the
not
whip
saying you
cracker,
need
like,
anything, Tim. I'm just throwing that out there.
like a CEO could also be the whip cracker.
Sure.
And then they would be middle
We're
management
not
because you'd
that
be the
big a
owner.
company.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, someone's got to execute and make
30
sure that shit's getting
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
And is like, look, I'm talking to the head of this department, this department, this department, this department, this department every day. We're having a 20 minute
How does Ian understand how a company works, but Tim doesn't?
minutes with you, 20 minutes with you, 20 minutes with you. Who's not getting it done in your
Oh, that's
department?
just so dumb.
Who's not
But I
getting
don't
it-
want to do
Yeah.
that.
No,
That's why I'm just
so
like,
you would hire someone to do
No.
all that crap.
No,
that
I'm
would be
just
the CEO's job.
not interested.
Well, they got to do a man. You got to have
Yeah, no.
meetings.
Or I can shut it down and do my morning show, and I don't need any employees.
Yeah.
Well, you could, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you
I
want to
could.
have a company, you got to have someone that's
that's what he's
executing
saying.
management.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He doesn't want to. That's the whole point.
Execute.
Well, you're saying you don't want to do it, not that you don't want the company to exist. You don't want to do that job. I don't blame you. It's exhausting to be in meetings.
No, I don't
all
want
day.
to. I don't want to be in that environment of weird, stodgy HR managers.
Yeah.
The HR company doesn't want to help you have a like, dude.
Yeah.
Once again, like Ian is coming in with the truth bombs. He has actual ideas.
I worked at companies where it's like, I'm having an issue. The only resolution is to ask HR, and HR is like, tell me more so I can fire you and get you. The machine is broken.
Yeah.
HR doesn't exist to help you with your problems. If you work at a company and you're having a problem employee harassing you, and they say, well, based on the current law, we're actually going to get more trouble from the harassing employee than the person being harassed, so we should fire the victim and then protect the harasser.
Yeah,
Man, there are
that.
companies where, without naming any of them, I've heard stories where like a woman got pregnant and then immediately threatened them that if they ever reprimanded her, she would sue them for sexism, and she'd get a high-powered lawyer, and then they just let her do whatever she wanted.
No, that's accurate.
There's
though.
an article I read the other day. Someone he quit his job like 8 months ago, and every day he's just going in there doing the least amount of possible, and he's still working there, and he's still doing his thing. It was a viral thing.
It's called quiet quitting. Okay, we're gonna go to the members section so I can.
Okay, so to summarize, Tim is a massive bitch. He can't make a decision. He can't hire someone to make a decision. He's just entitled. I don't know really what else to say. I mean, does anybody else have any concluding statements before we like end this? Because it's just like it's just unbelievably retarded how entitled this dude is, how much of an F slur he is. I don't know. So I think that concludes it. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me.